don't know where my dice are either.
So,
Guys, have you played D&D before?
yeah,
No.
have we ever streamed? I don't. This
What
is-
that
What character am I playing?
Oh, wait, I don't
Wait, who are
brought
you
my
guys?
dice. Did I lose them?
Are we the bad guys?
This is a great start, y'all.
we the baddies?
If things sound a little bit different, it's because I changed up some of the music. We still have our old theme, so that you can always count on that during our little transition scenes. But for chatting right now, it's a little bit more like a light background piano. It's very lovely. Got some new music for when we're playing. I'm excited for it. But while we wait for everyone to get back, because of course that's what happens when you go live, is everyone leaves.
Apparently.
Hello, everyone. My name is Logan / NeverSayDice on the internet, and these are my lovely players. I don't want to steal Dimension 20 thing, so just everyone say hey.
Hi.
Logan, I can
Hello.
leave too.
Hi, lovely players.
Xavier, I said we're not gonna take their thing. Wait, Alan, what'd you say?
I said I can leave too.
You can leave too. I mean, you
Yeah,
already
I
showed
just
up
saw
late,
that
so
too.
you sort of like left first. You also
You talking shit?
nope. Yes, hello
Nope.
everyone. I'm Logan. I write D&D stuff. I stream D&D stuff. I edit stuff. I write miscellaneous other things. I just do a bunch of stuff.
Important question.
Yes.
How many times do you say dice?
Never.
Incredible.
You can find out more about me and my about stuff on my Twitch page and Patreon and yada yada yada. Chaos Logan emote.
Roll your polyhedron.
You may have seen a couple things on the transition starting screen, some announcements, because I don't like taking up too much time with announcements, but this time we're going to take as much time as we need, because I want to talk about a bunch of stuff, because it's been a while since we've talked about a bunch of stuff.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, so I write stuff on Patreon. I write D&D stuff. I do little behind-the-scenes stuff with the campaigns that I run. I post all sorts of stuff between magical items, encounters, and even just about full adventures. And then there's just everything in between. There's a couple free things out on my Patreon right now, and I'm going to be posting more free things in the future to, show what I do. But for right now, you can go check out my Patreon, of course, patreon.com/NeverSayDice, and you can support me through either $1 or $4. A Wendy's 4 for 4 once a month, as Jacob likes to say. And $4 gives you access.
For in a hot minute.
There you go. It gives you access to all the junk that I make. And on top of that, in the upcoming weeks, you get access to all the recorded one-shots that we're going to be doing. Right now, my lovely $4 patrons have voted on the first one-shot that we're going to be playing and recording in the Sharn Nights realm. It is a blast back to the past, 21 Sharn Street with our good friend Bob in his time as an officer of the law. Probably with a big, thick, juicy mustache and a shiny new revolver.
I don't like that adjective on mustache.
Juicy? Yeah, that's where all the
Yeah.
soup stays for later, as dads like to say.
Exactly.
You want that post soup.
Cream of onion.
Cream of onion?
That's a soup, right?
I mean,
I gotta leave.
it's a good, whatever.
Cream of onion?
Yeah.
Hold on a
Is it?
second.
Hey, it's canon now. It's canon
Yeah,
now.
cream of onion soup.
Oh, that sounds
Sharn
revolting.
delicacy.
That
Yeah,
just
um,
gets
Oh,
like
it's a
a
soup. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. It's
Yeah, but it's like a
okay.
condensed soup. You cook with it. You just don't
Okay.
eat it, right?
Hey man, if you're a bachelor living
No.
by yourself
Oh,
in
this is getting
in
worse.
our bachelor pad apartment,
You eat
hide
ramen
the
like a
can.
gentleman.
Yeah.
Bob gets
Calorie
like
can.
a great value brand can that just says cream of the crap.
So, very short. I was listening to a podcast one time, and this guy was talking about how when he was really poor, instead of eating like other things, he would make cheese onion sandwiches where he just put raw onions and cheese on a sandwich and eat it. And that's immediately what I thought of when you were talking about cream of onion. And I was like, that sounds like the most vile thing.
Nah, man, raw veggies, good.
Yeah.
I don't like raw onions.
He cracks
That's
open a can of beans, doesn't eat them up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Vile.
I hate it here.
Anyway, so check out my Patreon for really fun D&D content. And I'm going to be posting even more stuff here in the upcoming weeks because it's now sort of my full-time job, and so I'm very much looking forward to that. Right now, some of the free stuff we get access to, there are a couple stat blocks, a couple magic items, and also a work in progress for my next project, what I've dubbed Dad Magazine. Full name, Dungeon Architects Magazine. It is going to be sort of a collection of very classic dungeons, but they're sort of narrated and with like little interjections here and there and described by the architect who designed them. Because someone's got to design those crazy dungeons for all those beholders and mind flayers and liches out there. So, it's going to be like that.
Is there like a dungeon builders union out there?
I like to think so. So they're in an organization. They pay dues each month.
Yeah, just... Can you believe Versamax, the terrible? Fucking arches? What is this?
If you check out my Instagram, I post something on my story, and I'll post an actual formal Instagram post. Or if you can go see it on my Patreon as well, I posted the cover for the first one, and in like classic magazine style, like you see in the grocery store line, there's those terrible like clickbait style things on the side where it's like, you put that trap there, are mimics in again? Like stupid shit like that. I'm super pumped. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And right now, as part of that work in progress, you can get a stat block of a half dragon, half giant creature. Thank you, Jacob. Who calls himself Two Keg the Chimera. It is a Etten and blue half dragon combo. He's horrible and definitely just a great villain to have. 2K Sports. It's in the dungeon.
That's not at all what I was thinking about, but it's
also 2 keg because he has 2 heads and he drinks full
it's in my ass.
2 kegs of beer every time. Anyway, on top of that, you can also support via Twitch, subscribing, of course, following and giving bits, any of that kind of good stuff. But also just follow me on social media and whatever else. Biggest support is honestly just liking and sharing stuff that I post. 2 keg sounds like my Friday. Truly. Let's see. There was something else I was gonna do.
Trulies aren't even that good.
They're fine.
Trulies are better than White Claws.
Okay.
I never said White Claws are good either.
I'll say, we don't. I guess 2 kegs. He does.
I think whichever one sponsors us is the better tasting one.
Honestly, that'd be the best. That's like a podcast I listen to.
The official drink of Sharn Nights, Bud Light.
No, there's a podcast I listen to where they don't even have a sponsorship, but randomly they'll just be like, talk good stuff about Crown Royal. And then Crown Royal would be like, hey, thanks for that. Here's a bunch of bottles of Crown Royal. And they're like,
What?
hey, thanks.
Hello, Jameson whiskey. I'll say nice things about you if you send me Jameson whiskey.
Shut up,
No,
Richard.
not G Fuel.
We're
G Fuel
nuts.
makes me sick.
Monkey shoulder, please.
Yeah, fuck you, Bushlight.
G Fuel does not make
Oh,
you
no.
I'd be ashamed
Who
of
just
you.
did that? Marcus, thank you for being here. Oh, man. Thank you. Oh, no. That means we just hit 125, so I have to go put on a suit.
Haha, nerd.
Okay, I'm going to finish my announcements, and then we'll take a quick break before we totally get started, and I'll go put on a fucking suit. Thanks a lot, Marcus. It's like all those Friday
you.
marching band season days where we dress up in a suit before the game.
That's gonna be a long session for you, bud.
I know, and it gets hot in this room.
Wait, did you have to dress up in a suit on game days?
Yeah.
Like the football players?
Well, we didn't have to, but we did it because it was fun. Well, there was a group of people who did it because it was fun, and then they bullied the people who didn't want to do it.
See,
Okay,
you keep
yeah,
saying
that
because
sounds
it was
like
fun. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like
I thought it
fun.
was
Yeah.
fun because as a high schooler, it was the cool thing to wear sweatpants, and I'm like, you look stupid. I'm gonna wear something nice.
Did you also happen to wear a fedora?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
in middle school.
Just Logan walking through school in a 3-piece, just like, ha, look at all these cretins.
In his zoot suit.
And then after we went to play D&D, for people things.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marcus, for being my 125th. And that leads me perfectly into this segue. It's not a good one at all. I set some goals for tonight. I was at 123 followers, and my goal was to reach 125 during the session, and lo and behold, before we totally start playing, we're at 125, so shout out to Marcus, and there was a recent follow at the very beginning, Honored Golem. Thank you so much for following. So you were my 124th, 125th, so I have to go put on a suit. But the next thing is Patreon. I'm at 13 Patreon supporters, and if I can get to 15 by the end of the session, you can either be a $1 supporter or a $4 supporter. If I reach 15, only 2 more by the end of the session, then this campaign's going to shit. I'm going to throw a soap opera twist that completely turns this campaign on its head.
Quickly unsubscribes from Logan's Patreon.
So I never reach 15.
Everybody, quick, make our lives easier.
You know,
We've been
someone's
working
gonna
so
turn
hard.
out to be someone's long-lost twin brother, someone's gonna be someone's father, someone's gonna come back from the dead, someone's gonna be someone posing as a dead somebody or other. Like,
Someone's
And,
gonna get amnesia.
it's all
and
gonna be a
at this
dream.
point- And at this
Oh.
point, I am willing to shoot every last one of those people.
I'm done.
I don't care about this plot point. Bang!
Basically.
Oh, you're my secret twin. Well, you're in the way, buddy.
So if you really want to throw a wrench at all of my players here who have so patiently toiled away at this plot, go subscribe to my Patreon. I'll only need
Keep
2
your
more
riches
people
to
to do it.
yourself, you bastards.
But also go subscribe to my Patreon because I make some fun D&D content and I get a lot of input from you and make what you want me to make. So lots of fun stuff. Other announcements. Shadows over Driftchapel this past Friday was even more dramatic than the 2 weeks before. The 2 weeks before, I predicted that someone would die, and no one died. And then last week, someone died. So you should definitely check out the VOD to see which player character died, and tune in next week to see what happens. Because as it stands...
It was me.
Yeah, it was Jacob. Because as it stands, they're going to have to carry around this dead body for several days.
Mmm.
They
Tasty.
have to?
I mean, they don't have to, but if they really love him, Xavier, they would.
If it was Xavier in that situation.
If I was him, I would have simply just had a bison.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know that if Spike dies, we're just turning him into a scarecrow and leaving his body there.
That's in my will. I hope you do that. You have to follow it. It's
I
legally
swear to God.
You turn Spike into a suit of armor. It's just like our friend is always with us, protecting
that'd be
us,
so
keeping us safe.
morbid.
Oh,
That's so horribly morbid. I hate that a lot.
I want my
that's
face
gonna be
to
my
be
next
on the
character.
chest plate right here, so I'm always looking out. Oh.
Yep. Next
Bummer,
character
but
sheet
eat
to
your
put on.
heart out.
Well,
Yeah.
before this gets...
A goblin in a warforged
Nope,
suit.
please stop.
A goblin with a
Absolutely, I thought
glob.
about that so much.
A goblin wearing an orc suit. That's basically it's similar. So, speaking of, I just listened to a podcast about Ed Gein. I never knew that guy existed. I'm horrified. Carson, do you know about Ed Gein?
Yeah, of course I know.
That
about
was
Ed
a stupid
Gein.
question.
I
Man,
think I read about Ed Gein when I was like 11 or 12
it made me
years old.
feel away.
Yeah.
I think what made me
what
feel
podcast was it?
Stuff you should know.
Okay.
I love Stuff You Should Know. But it was interesting because the way they talked about it, they were like, yeah, once he got caught, like immediately, he pleaded a couple times like, hey, please let me out. And they're like, no. And he's like, all right, fine. And that was kind of the end of it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, like I think Ed Gein only killed 2 people, which doesn't qualify him as a serial killer, but just the weirdness is what catches you.
He dug up bodies to do weird stuff
Yes.
with.
Yeah,
So,
he tried to dig up his mother's body, but she specifically instructed them to put a big old slab of concrete on top, so that couldn't happen.
Jacob has raised his hand. Death Skin Mask My Slayers. About him, that makes sense. I can see that. If you don't know about Ed Gein, don't worry about it. He's a horrifying individual. Jacob, please, I see that you are raising your hand. We don't want to talk about serial killers right now.
Okay. For
Please
the
stop raising your
uninitiated,
hands.
Ed Gein was a prolific interior decorator. Please look up Ed Gein's house to give you some really cool inspiration.
Hey, don't do that because his house was a house of horrors.
Kind of reminds me of
If you guys, okay, hold on. I need to get rid of this shit.
Okay.
Lower. Anyway, we will move on. As far as announcements go, please check out Shadows over Driftchapel, the VODs, in the upcoming next week, next Friday. We're at an earlier time, so you can now not have to stay up as late to hang out with us. And then, of course, during the day, I typically will attempt a video game stream, doing something a little more laid back, and just kind of doing whatever, sitting and chatting. This weekend I will be out of town, so might change a little bit, but besides that, remember, 2 more Patreon supporters and I'll fuck up their day. The other thing I was going to say is tings. If you're a new follower and don't know what tings are, they're my channel currency. Normally, on normal video game streams and such, you can exchange them for, hydrates and posture checks and things like that. For our D&D stream specifically, you can inspire one of our lovely players here. Specifically, you'll be asked to type in their character name, which you'll see on screen here in just a few minutes. You can cue a flashback. Yep, Jacob's crying already.
No, M just texted me and was like, I wanted to mention Ed Gain's nipple belt, but I thought I would be behind and didn't want to talk about it.
Yo, yeah, thank you, Emily. That's a very good input. I definitely forgot about that. I know, God, what was we can't. Nope, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Flashbacks. If you can, similar to Point of Inspiration, you can trigger a flashback for a specific character, and they have to improvise a flashback based on the events of whatever's happening. So for example, if people are eating lunch in a sushi place, you can trigger a flashback for someone, and they have to think about some other time they ate sushi with a family member, and something tragic happened. You can also spend 1,200 tings for something happens, essentially triggering some kind of random event or encounter. There's a table for that I use based on Eberron tables and DMG tables, all sorts of stuff. So that's loads of fun. It can definitely change up the narrative. And then also finally at 10,000 tings, if you just have too many tings that you don't know what to do with, you can pay Oleg, our resident mafia enforcer and bank owner over there, and it will dump away your tings forever, but also Oleg gets a cut of the profits.
Keep in mind, the 10,000 is pay Oleg, not play Oleg. Don't be a confused customer like some people.
Alan, do you have something you need to... Never mind. Enough about Ed Gein. So, with...
God damn it.
With that, I'm going to throw it off to you guys while I go change into a suit super fast. I might keep on my shorts to really sell the look.
Oh
Do you want us to do an RP roleplay?
Well, what I was going to have you do is, because we do have some new people joining us, and hopefully some new people in the future, it has been a super long time since we've introduced our characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump scenes really fast. So now you'll be able to see people's names, their player, all that kind of good stuff. And also,
Look, can you do pigtails?
can I do? No, I can only do a single little thing back here.
Or like to the side.
I could try, yeah. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the suit.
Yeah, for all you people who used to say bring back the fro, I kind of am. I'm working on it. I'm growing my hair out. Let's go! My hair's getting long. It's just not too long yet. The best I can do is coach Yukai from Haikyuu and just kind of keep it all back. And just kind
of... that's a great reference. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
So what I'm going to do is pass on to you guys to do some character intros. Travis, since you like being in charge so much, I'm going to start with you.
Travis is a bossy lad.
Oh, bossy.
Sussy Baka.
And the way I want you guys to do this is starting with Travis, introduce who you're playing, your character, whatever you want to say about them, what they look like, etc., and then choose the next person to go. Does that make sense? It better make sense.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah, I
simple
forgot what my
instructions.
character looks like.
All right, cool. So Travis, take it away, and I am going to go put on a suit or half suit or something.
So my name is Oleg. I am a dwarf. I have brown eyes, and I am tattooed around the eyes, kind of like goggles in gold. I have guns. That's pretty smart of me. My hair is auburn, and I wear armor. Oleg likes to shoot things with those guns, and that's about it. I don't know what else to say about Oleg. I think that's me. Uh,
No way.
Austin.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So my name is Cornelius Bray. Got kind of like very shortcut, kind of like just perpetually messy, bright blonde hair, kind of like this just never at this this like 5 o'clock shadow that's just always there. It's like, does he ever shave? But does he ever not shave? I don't know. Anyway, wears kind of like black slacks, black shoes, white button down, just like a loose fit tie. Most of it doesn't look like it's new. It's probably been owned for a couple of years. However, just weirdly like symmetrical face and this long black kind of like detective coat kind of thing. With kind of like get little peaks of just like the underarm, like gun holsters and stuff. And yeah, that's about it. I am a private investigator.
Jacob, go ahead.
My name is Donavan Damon. I'm a tiefling. Got kind of darker, reddish, kind of grayish skin. Always wearing a suit. Always has a little bit of a mustache. Normally keeps his hair pretty neat. Always tries to look his best. I am a reporter, very nosy by nature, but trying his best to use the position that he has as a journalist to fix some of the city's wrongs and how the city has mistreated some of its citizens. I'm a bard, and that's pretty much it. Carson.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So I'm playing Varian de Madonna. Varian is a half-elf male in his mid-20s. He stands about 5'9", with kind of caramel hazel-colored skin, bright green eyes, is a large quantity of curly hair that kind of sits and spills from atop his head. It a kind of boyish ishly handsome kind of baby face. He is very thin and rail thin, as I described very early in the campaign, an e-boy physique, if you will. He dresses
You
is
have that written down.
yeah, he dresses very smartly. I kind of imagine like Newt Scamander from Fantastic Beasts. So kind of like, tie, like nice shirt, or vest, trousers, there's nice shoes, and like an overcoat. There's, he's typically wearing, a collar and long sleeves, but at the very edges, you could see some kind of arcane runes pressed into his skin. He wears glasses, is kind of some round, very wiry glasses, and is often seen with his wizardly familiar, a snowy white owl named Ori. Varian is a magical grad student at Moorgrave University in the city of Sharn, and studying in the particular area of divination. He's a divination wizard. He comes from the prominent and dragon marked family, the Madani family, and he bears the dragon mark, which is again kind of this bright green color on the skin on the back of his neck. And yeah, he first became an investigator as part of a kind of like a work study or internship program at school, and he found he was quite good at it, and so that's where we are today. Ah, I'm gonna choose Alan.
Hey, yo, what up? I used to. I won't talk about that. I play right now, currently, Killian Vesper.
Did anybody tell you what happened last week, Alan?
No, and I don't know what happened the week before either. I'm
gonna leave it a surprise.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna leave it a surprise. Yeah, Killian's dead. I'm sorry.
So Killian is an Aarakocra. He's like about halfling height, and he looks like you know that like that white snowy looking I think it's like a barn owl, the one that like his face looks like a satellite dish. And he's an inquisitive rogue. He looks like usually he's just kind of got this like little cloak thing on. It's like a mix between like you know the old British police like trench coat looking things, but then it's got like a hood on top, you know, to be like discreet, you know. And he works for like the Dark Lanterns. He used to be, or he's like a war veteran. He used to be, no, that was it, yeah. Let's see, what else was I saying? Oh yeah, Dark Lantern. That's basically like, you know, Sharn Knight, or Sharn's FBI people, yeah. And he's got two lovely Aarakocra kids, adopted. One looks like a kingfisher bird, the other one looks like a hummingbird. Yeah. Oh, and Killian also like on his like, you know, where you put your belt kind of thing. He's got like a holster for a mug on the ready, on the go, because you know he's a traveling man. He's got to carry the essentials. Yeah. I hope he's not dead. Who hasn't gone yet?
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah. So I play Spike. He is a Warforged bounty hunter who has gone on an interesting journey. He has this. he likes to change identities. So you may have seen, if you've been here for a while, you've probably seen my name change a little bit and my personality change as well. But right now, currently, this iteration of Spike is a Warforged just trying to find out a little bit more about himself and his interests, and is a very curious version of himself. He also has a living entity in his gun arm, which speaks to him and tells him sweet nothings at night. So, but yeah, that's Spike. Oh, I'm a Hexblade Warlock also. So.
Sweet.
I guess it would be. I guess I didn't actually say that I was an artificer, and that I have a gem in the middle of my head. That's
Yeah, I was
like little Uzi Vert.
I was listening from nearby as I put on a dress shirt, and Travis, your description was.
Thanks. I forgot what my character looked like I said. Oh
man. Did anyone not go?
I think that
Nope.
was everybody.
Rad. So suit on, I did a sort of monochromatic blue thing, got some heather blue here, navy blue, light blue, and silver. Got a whole look going. And then of course, Alan, your side pony up here.
Classic.
Whoa. Okay. Thank you for following Coda. I feel like I might know who that is, but I don't want to say it. So thank you for following Coda. You can, as you earn tings, sort of trade them in for whatever in-game stuff or out-of-game stuff. And it looks like we have a couple hydrates, so let's just everyone take a minute, drink some water.
I should probably go get some water to drink.
Yeah, I don't have water.
You guys, that's like the main tenet of streaming.
I thought
The
it was produce
streamer's
content until you die.
No, it's to stay hydrated, to not die. Good God, Alan, what's that? Bro, no thanks. I think
You're
I'm
getting
good.
there. You're getting there.
I mean, I guess I could really try.
How about a sideways for a hawk? You know, it's just like little balls on your head.
Little balls on my head? That's, every
Yeah,
Friday
in
night.
like a rainbow shape. You look like.
Did you say that's every Friday night?
No?
You're crazy.
For the beverage check, I was drinking Coke, but I'm out of that. So,
Dang.
Ooh, get those electrolytes back up.
So
we
playing
gotta-
Spider.
I got some Gatorade too.
Ayo. I got
Bev
my
check,
glacier
what are y'all
freeze.
drinking?
Bruh. You ever role play so hard you just collapse from exhaustion?
Yeah, that one in-person session
Every
we did with
day.
Frost Maiden. I
Yeah.
think we all collapsed to some degree or another.
I've also had this forever.
To answer Nathan's question,
Oh,
I am
nice.
drinking Red Oak Bavarian Ale or whatever it is.
That's a good one.
I've got some good old-fashioned
grew up near
tap
there.
water, and Mike's Harder lemonade.
Yeah.
Oh, so Logan said, I want my stomach to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all the sugar, please.
Yeah.
Every bit of sugar.
All
I
right,
can muster.
gamers.
Now that Austin's gone, let's do a quick roleplay warm-up. I think that's what we decided.
Oh my
RP
God.
warm-up and then your camera cut out for a second. I was like, okay, bye. Is it RP warm-up then recap or recap RP warm-up?
We should probably do RP warm up, then a recap. So then after the recap, we flow right into the
Yep,
session.
what Xavier says goes. So if I get Carson to pick the next person to do an RP warm-up.
All right.
It's been a while since I've worn a suit, and so I'm like so fidgety, like
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
touching everything.
I'm gonna roll a d6. On a 6 we reroll.
Sure.
Who went last time?
Carson.
That's a 6.
Was
We
it Carson?
reroll. Okay, that's a
For
1.
tomorrow.
Travis, what's up?
Travis, if I get you to roll a D10 for me,
Bossy, the boss man.
Today's not my day.
Mr. Kundarak.
I can't
Mr.
even
Kundarak.
describe my character. How am I supposed to? 8. You said a D10?
Yes, D10. This is gonna be very sweet because on occasion, in Sharn Nights, Oleg, who's usually the cold-blooded killer, the very kind of character, sometimes he will be super sweet and say he cares about someone, that he likes someone, and worries about people, and it's heart-wrenching. It's the sweetest thing ever. So Oleg, what is one thing you would what is one thing your character admires about someone else in the party?
Just do everyone.
I can't do everyone. I don't think my character admires some of these
Yeah, I would say he
characters.
doesn't admire.
What do you hate about Killian?
About you.
He's a cop who could get me in trouble at any time for just being me.
Nothing to love.
Couldn't have stopped it. He's a cop.
Yeah. I really admire Varian's way of talking his way out of things, and his very intelligent. I mean, he's also extremely intelligent, and just I don't know. I admire everything about Varian, but
Why'd you guys just kiss already? God.
Spike is probably my best friend. And I don't. Killian hasn't arrested me yet.
What a commendable trait. Because you've sure given him reason.
I really like I really like how you haven't arrested me.
Yeah, that's
That's
always a good
really-
sign when it's like, what do you like about me? And it's like that you haven't done this. Like that's such a
Yeah.
Well, you
bare
haven't
minimum.
shot me yet,
Yeah.
so.
Donovan, I try to pretend to hate at this point. I
That's weirdly
somewhat
sweet.
admire him.
It's what's trendy.
And I like nothing else at all.
Cornelius sheds one single tear.
No, I'm kidding. Cornelius, I really admire just everything. I don't know. Cornelius, I feel as though I think is my second best friend. Funny enough. I really enjoy hanging out with Cornelius as like a friend. I like want to protect Varian, but like as a
Yeah.
friend, I really enjoy Cornelius.
I feel like Oleg and Cornelius, like, they wouldn't necessarily like share their deepest, darkest secrets in a sleepover, but they'd get a drink together. Like, they're just like, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
We get along.
Yeah, I
You get
really
a little too drunk, you share something a little too deep, and then
You kiss a
pretend,
little bit.
You pretend you never said anything.
Pretend you never talked
Yeah,
about it. Yup.
yeah.
I think it's more so for Oleg. I think more so Cornelius and him don't really hang out that much, but whenever they do, I imagine that they just kind of they're those kind of friends where you can sit with the other person, not say a single word, and just like
It's
enjoy their
fine,
presence.
yeah. And you
with each other.
definitely say like, yeah, we should go out sometime. We should hang out, and then you don't, but it's fine because you still.
Yeah, you just really enjoy each other,
Yeah.
but like it's not like a
Doesn't
bad
matter.
thing to not hang out, and it's not. Yeah.
I like it. That's a good one. That's a good one. So let me check you off my list here. And now, if one of you wants to recap, it'll need to be a little bit detailed for Alan's sake, or I can do it.
You can do it.
I mean, it's usually me or Carson. That's kind of the.
Are you feeling like doing it this week?
I mean,
I'm
I
fine
can.
doing it if you want to do it.
The last
Yeah.
session was fairly short, but lots of stuff transpired.
Yeah, I mean, I have like 2 1/3 pages of notes, so I don't know how short it was.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was short but thick. It
I'll
was a
say-
chode of a sode.
There you go.
Hmm.
All right, we'll say you did it last time, so I'll
I
take
hate
it this
that.
time. It's a chode of a sode.
I don't like that.
I'll put that in the VOD
The-
description.
I think what's upsetting about that is that the part that I didn't like wasn't showed. The part that I didn't like that you shortened the
Sewed.
episode to sewed. That was the part that I
rhyme
found
it.
offensive, which hurts. That's the part I didn't like. But anyway,
You're evolved, Jacob. So last
Hate it here.
time, session 35. We were on 36, you guys. If you can believe it. Last time, maybe more accurately, the time before, the session before, you had infiltrated Ithronel's room that she had been staying in at the Anvil, and made off with an invisible and magically charmed trunk that she had under the bed. Escaping to Oleg's Sky Coach, and after bumping into Sergeant Philroy and some Boromar people, you zipped away to rifle through the trunk elsewhere. In the meantime, Donavan sent a message to Gwendolyn and asked to have a meeting to speak together, and she accepted. After she was just caught helping Ithronel escape. So, some people stayed behind on the Sky Coach to rifle through the stuff, while Donovan sent an illusory image of himself to talk with Gwendolyn. First, in the Sky Coach, the trunk was locked and magically charmed in as many ways as you can imagine, but through several dispel magics and even the true seeing that allowed Varian to see it all. Trunk was eventually opened, all the locks disengaged, and stuff rifled through, and the contents included 3 volumes of what seemed to be almost like a ledger. Thousands of names, followed by 4 numbers in separate columns. There was also a lockbox emblazoned with the brilliant crest, full of old Sharn watch and last war paraphernalia belonging to a private region. And then finally, in a sort of secret compartment in the lid, a number of trinkets. The first two of which, one was a wedding ring, a brass wedding ring that Varian had seen before, and just a simple wooden little train that had been wrapped up in a little cloth. All the while, people were analyzing the various garments and certificates and things within the little lockbox. Cornelius pored over those volumes of ledgers, trying to ascertain what the numbers mean. The numbers, Cornelius! And then, all the while, Spike got into debt with Oleg for a little while, and Donavan spoke with Wendelin. The conversation ultimately ended with Wendelin revealing that she was close with Ithronel, and that Ithronel trusted her. But ever since finding out that she had harmed Varian, and maybe even intended to harm Oleg, and all that kind of stuff, she had kind of started losing the rose-tinted glasses toward Ithronel that most people have. And even though Wendelin can't necessarily stop the entire Order of the Alley from doing what they're doing, it's a bit out of her hands at this point, she at least tells you and confirms that you sort of have a friend on the inside. That if things go sideways, she will be by your side and not Ithronel's side. Depending on the Order of the Alley, and, you know, she says she'll be on your side, but it may be hard to turn her back on the organization that saved her. So, at the very least, though, she's not your enemy. She's still your friend to some capacity. After that, conveying information to all parties in the Sky Coach, people were dropped off at their respective homes, except for Cornelius, who was dropped off at Rick and Grey Castles at near 5 o'clock in the morning to ask on his insights on these ledgers and numbers. So I think, Austin, we will start with you. And we're going to do just a few brief scenes here. It'll be fairly minimal, more narrative than anything. So, Austin, Cornelius, do you work with Rickon first, or do you go to bed first and then wake up a little bit earlier and talk to him then about it? Or do you let him work on it? Because honestly, by the time you arrive, he's an old man. He's already awake by 5 a.m.
I'll basically give him the basic rundown, be like, I need to take a nap. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And sleep a little bit while he takes a look at it, get up, and then
Yes.
cooperate. And then we will corroborate our findings and insights together and work on it.
Yes.
As a unit.
You're more than welcome to do that. He shows you to a guest room, and Rickon Greycastle III is sort of this legendary Sherlock Holmes figure, but sort of in his twilight years. His career was ruined. He got, the press slammed him. People stopped hiring him, and he sort of fell to the wayside, even though he was a superhero at one point. But now he's kind of in his retirement years, very old, and now sort of imposing his desire to keep saving Sharn onto these new investigators and sort of patronizing their skills to try and pick up where he left off so long ago. And where he lives, even though it's in a lower part of the city, he's bought out the other apartments around him and converted it onto one big penthouse because he's in his retirement years and he wants to do that. And so he shows you to this little guest nook to sleep on an actual bed, not just on a couch. And you fall asleep, but at some time, you hear a thudding sound. And not like a knock on the door, a thud. Enough to where you wake up. You're used to hearing thuds in the lower city, but this thud, it tingles in the back of your head. The sun's broken across the sky. You're not sure what time it is, but you can feel that something's off. And when you get up and check the apartment, you see in Rickon's study, in the floor, there are incense burning. The lights are kind of dimmed, but you find Rickon collapsed on the floor with the ledgers out in front of him, incense burning, and some kind of medallion in his hand. He's collapsed on the floor.
Okay. Okay. Knowing that Rickon is a spellcaster, seeing signs of possibly some kind of spellcasting, I'm not gonna meddle, but I am gonna check to at least make sure that this is not like this isn't like coincidentally looks like spellcasting, but he's fucking dead. So I'm gonna like check his pulse.
You check his pulse. He's alive still, but even just your touch, he jolts awake, and you see that he has a scratch and a bit of blood on his forehead. So it was definitely not on purpose that this happened, but he was casting a spell, performing a little ritual. He apologizes and says, "It's been a while since I've done one of those, so pardon." And you see that you've only seen it happen a few times before, but his hair is sort of standing out on end, like he's touching one of those electric balls. But specifically, part of his scalp is glowing kind of a lavender bluish color. And he tries to smooth it down. And he remarks and says, "All right, so here, grab that chair and sit with me. I'll tell you what I found." He hobbles his way over. He sets the medallion down, and you kind of glance over at it. And it's a silver medallion with an open book on it. And if you'll make either a history or arcana check for me.
Not proficient in either of those things.
Woo!
10.
You know that this is the symbol of a god. It's the god Arion, the god of knowledge and law. But Rickon's he does not seem the religious type, and you don't see anything else in here of religious type, and you start thinking a moment. And you remember, maybe even because Varian has maybe mentioned it a time or two, this type of medallion is worn by people within the esoteric order of Arion, sort of the quote-unquote good-aligned magic guild. You recall that because Varian's uncle wore a similar medallion whenever he would be sort of dressed up in his party gowns and things, be out in public. So at least at one time, Rickon may have been a member, which probably makes sense. And with that, we're going to start jumping around, so I'm going to put everyone in a hot seat. So, Varian, you have class in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you wake up to go to class and risk running low on sleep? Or do you skip class to get a full long rest? Because you've already gone low on sleep once and had to make a save. This would be night 2 of doing such a thing, meaning the DC is higher.
I've long rested in class before.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like a test day or anything.
Not a test. It's a Tuesday, so it's it's probably a day that's like, all right, everyone. Here I'm handing out the study guides. On Thursday we're gonna go over it, and Friday you have a test, kind of thing.
It's college, right? There's probably no attendance.
It is your senior year, though.
It is.
It is your senior year, though.
Yeah, that goes both ways. It's your senior year, but it's your senior year.
Yeah.
And then you recall ringing in the back of your head the voice of your catfish in a diving suit advisor, sort of asking whether you would want to be a private investigator, work with the Madani's Warning Guild, or join the Esoteric Order after graduation. And, you don't need a degree or good grades to be a private investigator.
Yeah, but aren't they a reward in and of themselves?
That's good. So, Do you skip
Spoken
class
like
or
a
do you
true
go to
academic
class a
shield.
little exhausted?
Would I have to skip class anyway if I were, I guess, taking time to prepare for the evening?
Well, so we'll say this: if you guys want to get a full long rest, except for Spike, but Xavier knows what he's doing in the meantime. Presumably, you guys will be unavailable, using a long rest until about noon.
Okay.
So, which means, for work days, that'd be a half day. For classes, probably skipping the first class or two of the day. But of course, that also means you really can't do anything else during the morning unless you want to go without a long rest and risk being exhausted.
I think as much as Varian is used to pushing the envelope where it comes to sleep and whatnot, I think he knows this. He needs to be on the top of his game. I'm going to take a long rest.
Let
Yeah.
the record show Varian is skipping class to sleep in.
Yeah. But before I go
We're
to
such
sleep,
bad
I do
influences.
cast sending to one of, like, a classmate I know. Just be like, hey, I'm going to be out tomorrow. Please, if you wouldn't mind me borrowing your notes, that'd be great.
I imagine, Varian's probably way better at it, but that just reminds me of, like 5 minutes before class starts, you email your professor and you'd be like, I can't make it to class today. Could you, you're like, I
Yeah.
know what you did.
I remember there was one time, and I went to go walk out of my apartment, and I set one foot out, and my foot just went on the ice, and I went back inside, and I said, "Dear Dr. Stallman, not coming in today. Sorry about it."
Shout out to Dr. Stallman. What? What a
But
lady.
yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm showing her that. Someone clip that. I'm sending it to Meg.
she got the email. I told her why I wasn't coming. But
you weren't
yeah.
a problem, so she probably didn't mind.
Yeah, but yeah, Varian sends that message and then just
Back to sleep.
collapses into bed.
Love it. So inevitably, Spike, you go out and do your thing and begin maybe practicing a bit of swordsmanship.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Oh yeah. Just a. I'm in my closet of a apartment, and I'm just like swinging the sword around as far as you possibly can.
I love it. And then Donavan. Early in the
Yes.
morning, close to 7:30, before you would normally even be going into work, there's a knock at your door.
I go answer it. Even though I've only been asleep like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like in a robe.
And even checking the people and doing all that stuff. You see on the other side of the door and sort of a traveling coat, hat in hands now, your lead editor, Godfrey Montel, your boss.
J. Jonah Jameson?
Basically.
I need pictures of Ithronel. Anyway.
You open the door. Just a generally big man, tall, wide, big, thick mustache. As Jacob hates a big, juicy mustache.
Big juicer.
Big juicer. Balding head, hat in hands. You can immediately pick up that something's wrong. He's nervous.
It looks like a walrus.
He looks like a walrus. Glances over down the street. Morning. Sorry to wake you so early. And he reaches and sort of what he's tucked into his hat, pulls out an envelope. Sorry, Donavan. Fortunately, we're gonna have to let you go. It's been brought to my attention that working with, being under contract with law enforcement such as Sharn Watch or King's Citadel or any other organizations is prohibited. And apparently, someone has provided evidence that you have worked with the Boromar clan and have used your work to benefit them.
It's okay. I know what happened.
He looks at you with kind of a seriousness and like sort of a, really? Do you know?
Yeah, I got too close to the truth and people are covering it up. It's classic. It's how this town works.
We maybe for in a couple months sometime we'd love to have you back or be a ghostwriter or do a little freelance work, but sorry it's come to this.
Hey. When the paper sales go down, you'll know what happened. Just remember something. The people in charge, your bosses, they're gonna have a lot to answer for really soon. So, keep the stuff on my desk. I'll be back. And I turn around and shut the door.
He lets it fall back to his side and puts his hat back on and walks out. And at that point, you hear a clink of glass behind you as Mona's pouring herself a cup of coffee. She says, "Dad, what was all that about?"
I got fired. I'll get it back soon.
You
Not
got
that big of a deal.
fired? What'd you do?
So
Kept showing up late, huh?
no, more like when you're in pursuit of real justice, sometimes the system doesn't work with you. It's like I always told you, kid. Sometimes doing the right thing can cost you a lot.
Do I need to pick up a part-time job?
No.
I mean, I can. Campus is hiring.
No, you need to focus on your grades. You got a future you need to pursue. You don't need to worry about this. It'll be solved soon enough. People are just trying to use some underhanded tactics to dissuade us from doing the right thing.
After a moment, she kind of finishes pouring her coffee, and you sort of get a sense like, okay, it's resolved. She finishes pouring her coffee, puts it down, and walks over. But then she gives you a big hug, and she eventually just says, "Be careful."
I'm always careful.
And then she heads on to her room. Cornelius, you sit down with Rickon to discuss the contents of the ledger and what he may have ascertained with it. He's an old man, so he has a very roundabout way of talking about stuff, and sort of turns it. You also know him. He's a big showman. He likes telling stories, and so he sort of turns it into like the classic reveal, you know, at the end of like a mystery special, like what is it, Miss Marple? Yeah, like at the end of Miss Marple, like, you know, haha, kind of moment.
Like talks his way around it before being like, and suspense.
Yes, definitely. And so immediately he points out the fact that all of you people that have been antagonistic and investigating Ithronel in this book are all labeled with a 1, and in the second column where the numbers range from like 1 to 100, you guys all have less than 10. And then also in the fourth column, you all have 0 or some other low number. All of you have 0 except for Varian.
Varian.
So, Rickon, he asks you, even though you just woke up, dawn is barely breaking, and you're like, dude, it's been like 2 hours. He's like, so, if you had to label all of you, and you see he like wipes a bit of blood off his forehead and like dabs at the cut where he hit his head on the floor. He says, so what would you consider you all in if you wrote this book? How would you label you all? If you all have the same numbers or relative numbers, what would that mean? What are you to her?
Well, my gut feeling about the first column was that it's either a measure of like trustworthiness, reliability, maybe it's I don't know. The first column being perhaps 1 is threat, danger, I don't know. Or maybe a consistency thing. Maybe it's like, oh, we can be consistently relied upon to be antagonistic to her goals. Beats me.
He says, I think I'd agree with that. From what I've seen, the first and second columns are not necessarily proportional, but they're close. The higher the first number, the higher the second number. There doesn't seem to be a clear formula or relationship, but a general trend at the very least. So I can maybe see that as well, but I think what gets me, if you all are the same, so is Wendelin. But she seems to be on the same side. Which, it leads me to believe that Wendelin is in the same group as you all. Whatever that might mean.
But clarification, Donavan did tell us about the conversation and what Wendelin said, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to make sure that, yeah.
Yes, that is what Wendelin said.
And maybe she's misleading Wendelin, making Wendelin believe that she is trusted, either to ensure that maybe her trustworthiness is well placed or not. Maybe it's a test kind of thing, you know?
What's that old Carnathi phrase? Keep your enemies close, friends close, enemies closer,
Enemies closer.
close, friends close.
Maybe
Yes,
that's it. One is for sure always antagonistic. 2 is something like, this is someone that is not to be trusted, but I can use them. I can keep them close.
Which might be. I hope Wendelin can definitely take care of herself. I just hope that.
Maybe it's also how much that person can be influenced. Because none of us are going to change. As far as I know, none of us are going to change our goals. We are out to put an end to this. Wendelin can be convinced of things if it follows what she believes. It's why she left in the first place. But maybe she still doesn't trust her. But then that would mean that the highest number in the first column that I saw was 10. And that was Varian's uncle. So is it a scale of how much this person can be influenced to her side? And if that's the case, does that mean...
I guess it's up to everyone, but I guess really Cornelius. Do you tell Rickon about Varian's uncle Baron and Ithronel?
At that point, yeah.
Okay. And he would make a remark of like, maybe it's, their current standing or what she thinks their current standing could be, or like what kind of relationship they could maybe have, 10 being the best, 1 the worst. Or, yeah, what they've already established, or but eventually he starts remarking about the 4th column, because that one has the widest array of numbers. And what he notices, kind of something you picked up on as well, is that the Arum's numbers were almost skewed to a certain degree. That the Arum's fourth column numbers were much higher than most people's. You know, typical shopkeepers, tavern owners, innkeepers, peddlers, whoever it might be, would be in the 1 to 100s, but the Arums are, you know, generally incredibly high into the thousands, or also still fairly low, but in the hundreds still. But what he sort of does is, and he'll even do some like prestidigitation, illusory magic, like on the wall, like an illusory whiteboard.
Gives me a PowerPoint presentation
Yeah.
in the 2 hours that I was asleep.
Yeah. And he essentially pulls out a bunch of Aura members and divides them up in almost 2 columns. There's some where the fourth column is less than 500, some where they're in the thousands. But then he starts pulling out some of the other numbers, but he's still mostly focused on the last column. And he says, all right, so just how you all have ones. All of these folks have thousands in their fourth column. What do these Arum folks, how are they different than others?
Standing, magical aptitude, wealth, perhaps?
That's what I thought. Wealth, artifacts, connections, being a part of an organization. That's not necessarily, like, anyone can be a part of an organization nowadays. You just have to pay dues. But Ithronel's in there, so that, you know, that has to be important to some degree. And he starts pointing at all of them, pointing out, like, Baron's name, and he points out a few other names. You notice Klein Cloveholler is in the 1600s. Rashat Han, who is in the Silver Concord, is over 2,000. And he says, so something regarding their wealth, their standing, their organization, their artifacts, something, their value. That's what this is.
Klein Cloveholler was the creator of that
Oil.
Kleinite oil?
Yeah.
Baron Madani. Baron Madani. It was a bridge. There was a fight. There was a fight on a bridge. I remember showing up for that. Just by circumstance and helping everybody out. But apparently, Baron was transporting magical objects and things like that, and one of which turned into a creature. There was an explosion, like blast discs. Holy shit! You think it's the resources that are available that she can make use of? Because I mean, because think about it, Klein Cloveholler's Kleinite oil. Like, I mean, it's deadly. The access to magical artifacts that Baron Madani has, magical items and weaponry that, you know, blast discs were used in some of the attacks, the assassinations, the oil, the poisons used in the assassinations. Or perhaps like even just general wealth. It's resources.
And you see that he starts to, like, mind map. He says, and I recall you went and you asked sort of the Arum about some of their books, and the Arum coffers aren't being pulled from, but it's the people, the members that she's pulling from. Her name's Ithronel. Donna. Death now. And he starts flipping through all the books, and you see eventually his body kind of sags. And he illusions up onto the wall his own name, and then 4 numbers. Next to Rickon Greycastle III, the 4 numbers are 1, 1, 50, 200. And he taps his finger on 200, and he says, that's what I paid for these apartments. I bought the apartments from my neighbors whenever I turned this whole place into a penthouse. She lived here, apparently. it's money. It's fourth column is money,
Directly
or
money.
resources, or value that people have given her in gold, 200 gold. And so in the books he writes like GP above the fourth column, and then he starts immediately thumbing through all the books, and you've looked at these books dozens of times over. The amount of gold outlined in the fourth column, just so much. The mind boggles at how much. Just, from Aura members, and even just from random people she may meet in passing, she has gotten something from everyone, and she has used it to her benefit. Whether it's actual gold or resources. And you recall Varian even mentioning that she told him that she came from nothing. She's not rich, she doesn't have money. She's not supposed to be there, but, she's playing along with it. She gets it from others.
So it's the contributions that people have made to her in some form or fashion, whether directly or indirectly. The money that you spent on the apartments, possibly having bought it from her without knowing who she was. Because they were talking about her family. Her family was talking about face sculptor, and that is one of the tyrant face sculptors. So you could have absolutely no idea who she was at the time, because different face, different. Who knows? Maybe she's even magicked. Who knows?
But
So fourth column financial.
He interjects and says, "But if she got anything, if she paid for anything, or someone owes her something, it's here. It's in here somewhere. You just have to figure out who it is and which one it is. And it's not like a receipt or anything, but it's a history."
Who would she have paid for what? You're muted.
I don't know when I did that. Thanks for all the gifted subs, Aaron. We appreciate it.
I had Streamlabs put away. Oh my god. Okay, I need a toilet cat so bad. So let's take that moment for a quick break on my part. People can stay in the chat. Do you guys want to take a break too?
Yo, Aaron, thanks for the subs.
Sure. I should probably walk the dog.
Okay,
So.
let's take a 2-minute break and then be back, and I'm just going to come back and chat with people. So we'll be right back. Let's do this one. Yeah, there's in the tabletop RPG Twitter world, there's a guy who does polls about, like, would you prefer more campaigns or more settings or whatever else? And I feel like the general consensus is like more campaigns, but more campaigns in the settings that they've created. And so it's like, they release the settings with sort of a built-in, like, level 1 adventure, but it's like, yeah, but do a campaign in Theros, do a campaign in Eberron, do a campaign in Ravnica, like, do all those, because, please?
Yeah, I would.
feel like
I
that
would
would also give
love
like a
that.
good idea of just like how to also play in that world. Just giving people a little bit more of a buy-in.
And I know some people have come up with, like, a guide to, like, hey, do you want to do Curse of Strahd in Ravnica? Here you go. And I'm like, that's great and all. Like, that's very clever. Like, but also I don't know. I just want a campaign.
That sounds very DM guilty. Like, I love the DM guilds, but you find some wild stuff there.
It's all very cool stuff, but also, like, that's a lot of work.
I do think one of our recorded one-shots should be that murder on the Eberron Express or whatever.
Definitely.
Because I think that would be super fun.
Yeah.
To just, like, I know you'd mentioned doing it with our current characters, but I think it'd be even more fun to just do with random characters.
True.
Because, like, the fact that one of them could be, like, one of the PCs is the murderer.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that. It's like Clue. You're just who is it?
We could do it in the theme of, like, yeah, you all have heard about the famous investigators who caught the house killer Ithronel Adana, and now you're caught in a murder mystery. Yes.
You know what I would love for it to be? It turns out it's Varian, but he's so awkward about it. He doesn't want to tell anyone that he did it.
Even till
So
the very
good.
end, we're like, "You're clearly covered in blood and holding the murder weapon." Like, no, it wasn't me.
It was me. It was me, guys. It was me. I
So
promise.
yes, huge shout out
Don't
to
look any better.
Aaron, Miss Appalachian Rose. Go give her a follow. Let's see if I can spell Appalachian right the first try. You'd think after
I was gonna
going,
say, it would be even better if it was just like one of those things where like covered in blood, murder weapons nearby, and that really wasn't the murderer kind of thing.
Mhm.
He just
an
happened to
intentional
pick up the body or whatever.
Either happened to
Yes.
be there or like intentional framing just adds like another layer of it.
Definitely. So go give Miss Erin a follow. And also shout out to my friend Ian Platypus 9068, not 9069, who apparently wants to have sex with me. And misses me and wants me
Who
to
doesn't?
come back to North Carolina.
Cringe.
Do you want me to go to North Carolina or Ohio, Ian? Go Bucks. And yes, if you missed it, my friend Ian and I, we did a one-shot date night where we did a Call of Cthulhu Wild West one-shot. And that may be one of my next stream campaigns when one of the when Shadows of Driftchapel ends. So we shall definitely see. Love me some horror. Go Bucks. Everyone hydrate. Richard demands it.
No, you can't tell me what to do.
Do you hear that, Richard?
My little can tell me anything. I trust him wholeheartedly.
I
That's
love you,
fair.
Richard.
That's fair. I would also trust Richard with my life. God, freaking 13 people. It looks like Meg is in the chat too. What's up, Meg?
What's up, Meg?
What's up, Meg?
Hey.
That gets
Hello.
Xavier to look over.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it was the real Meg and not some fake.
Yeah, it's
Some
Meg Games, not
phony.
Meg Games 2 or Meg Games 3 or Meg Games
Yeah.
with 3 S's. Freaking posers.
Or as I read it for the first time, Mega Mess.
Make a mess.
Yeah.
That's fair, actually. Yeah, that's good. That's clever, Meg. I'm proud. That's good.
Yeah, it's like the linguistic version of one of those drawings where it's either an old woman or a young woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a rabbit.
Yeah.
Is it
Or
a
a
duck?
rabbit.
Is it a rabbit?
So in case you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, we've already done the first goal, reach 125 followers. That's why I'm in a suit. Thanks for that, Marcus. Marcus and whoever. Oh, I can't remember the name. I'm terrible at remembering shit.
It was something Golem.
Honored Golem. Thank you, Jacob. I seen that little jog.
You're welcome.
But I need 2 more subscribers, 2 more patrons on my Patreon. Just 2 more to get me to 15. And I will throw a soap opera twist at my players that they will definitely hate and regret.
It will be a new campaign.
It'll definitely be new. We will just jump straight into Icewind Dale.
Yeah. In media res.
Yeah, yep.
Varied, you wake up. You have
Yeah.
long, hairy arms.
Oh, that'd be so funny. We had to play all our new fucking Frostwind characters by way of our Sharn characters.
It was a dream.
Yeah.
Ah, the big city.
It's like the Borderlands 2 DLC that was the D&D one. It's like we're playing our characters playing D&D.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys are sitting in that one town at the bar and just like playing D&D.
Yeah.
We just never left that first town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would be the DM? Would it be Louis? And
God,
that's-
I don't want to play in a Louis Rand campaign. I
Everything would
don't.
be so horny all the
I
time.
really
Yeah.
don't.
That sounds awesome. What do you mean? Don't do this to me.
I imagine though, like if like oh god, Xavier, what was your character's name?
Wendell or
Win.
Win
Win.
for short.
I imagine if Win was the DM, it would be like, hey, DM, can I do this? And it's like, no. Why? I'm a prince. You can't do that.
Yeah.
How dare you ask me if you could? Absolutely not. Let's abort. No,
No, you
your
can't.
character's dead now.
You can't make a
I've-
persuasion check. What are you talking
I've executed your character. Make a new one.
Yeah, all these sound like terrible decisions. Also, I'm pretty sure Louis would just be completely scarred by Oleg. It would not go over well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lou would wake up screaming in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Casimir does a Grimdark campaign, but it's not because he wants to be edgy. It's all he can conceive of.
Carson, can I issue you a challenge real quick?
Yeah.
Can you play Casimir doing an impression of Varian?
Oh, boy. Give me a second.
I know you did all your vocal warm-ups as Varian, so it's a little kind of...
Oh my goodness gracious!
I see you mouth.
The bit.
I'm very Midori. I'm a very pretty little elf boy.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Oh,
I reach out and I minor illusion a very pretty flower and I hand it to him. Doing one English accent by way of a different English accent is a
Impossible.
fool's errand.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's
insane.
impossible.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like at first, that was really good. That was awesome.
Yeah, then it slipped just into Casimir, but
That was good. So, yes, anyway, go subscribe to my Patreon. You get all sorts of fun D&D stuff, adventures, dungeons, stat blocks, spells, character options, subclasses, yada, yada, yada. And if we get 2 more patrons by the end of the stream, I will drop a soap opera twist on my players that they definitely will dislike. Yes,
Great.
very clever, Jacob. Ass poop. So we will...
As opposed to not.
Mouth poop?
You'd be surprised.
I hate that a lot. So, Austin,
Good.
you were in the spotlight, sitting in Rickon's study by the sun just barely cresting over the horizon of the city. You left off with coming to the conclusion that the 4th column of this ledger deals with value, wealth, price, whatever, some monetary representation of what people have provided or given Ithronel. Which makes sense because the Aura members are the greatest in that column. Specifically, Baron, as you recall, is the highest in that column.
Taco.
And then finally, Rickon also has a number in that column. However, you also notice that Rickon has a 1 in the first column, like all of you, the people who were trying to stop her. He has the highest number in the 3rd column, which is a 50. And then he also has the lowest in the 2nd column, which is also a 1. Basically, you guys are just above him, barely, with things like 2 and 5 and 9.
Lemon's his 3rd column's the same. I'm not there, but his 3rd column's the same as Killian's.
3rd column's the same as Killian's. And, as a private investigator, Cornelius, you would probably know some of the mythology surrounding Rickon Greycastle. And he was known to work with the King's Citadel, the Dark Lanterns, because of his prolific image as an investigator. He was big. He presumably has a history with Ithronel.
Like, with you and Killian having the same 3rd column number, the primary connection between the 2 of you is your association with the King's Citadel, Killian being an agent of this King's Citadel, and I mean you're you're legendary. Everybody knows that you were, or everybody who knows anything about how you really operated when you were around and still in your prime of your investigating days, how you worked with the King's Citadel to solve cases and things like that. But then we have some interesting. There's some interesting combinations here. Let's take Spike. Spike, for example, is a 40. You have the Boromar clan sits in the 40s. Baron Madani's 45. What association is actually being made here? Because if we go with the angle of common connection in terms of like work or just network connections, things like that, what would really be the common denominator between a bunch of the Boromars, Spike, and Baron Madani being all in the 40s?
And you see he has a couple thoughts, but he throws up a few more. And so if you think connections, and he starts saying like, well, yeah, maybe it's part of the organization they're in, whatever connections they have, it makes them more powerful. But then he puts up like Varian and Baron side by side. Varian de Madani, the dragon-marked heir to House Madani and Sharn. In the third column, he has a measly 5, and then Baron has a 45. And then Oleg has an equally, or relatively low number, not necessarily equally, but relatively.
Oleg is
at a 25 compared to Spike, who has a 40.
We also discovered that there were some tellers from the Kundarak Bank also possessing a 25 in the third column. It's part of the reason why kind of like the mutual connection of like maybe organization and things like that kind of came into play, but like where does that fit in with the rest of the people on this list?
And then he starts illusioning different names up onto the walls and different numbers. And he puts up a bunch of Boromar names. None that are terribly significant, but just a bunch of Boromar names. And they range between 40 and 50. Again, no higher than 50. With Rickens being at 50, the highest the entire time. Me. And it starts holding up like Spike's name and Donovan's name. Man, Donovan's at a 30, and all these Boromar folks are at a 40 or higher. He says, it's a gap, but Donovan's higher than Varian and you, and nearly equal with someone in the Arum. So what? Why would a bunch of Boromar clan, if not all of the Boromar clan, be equal to someone in an upper organization? Because they don't have money.
Maybe it's I was gonna say maybe it's the size, like maybe it really is about connections, the size of the organization they're associated with, the danger posed by the associations. But then why would Varian be so low if he is also part of a large and prominent dragon-marked house? And then Oleg, the Kundaraks, but then Spike's a solo bounty hunter. He doesn't. I mean, yeah, obviously Spike has his connections and everything, but he's not. I mean, it's like the Boromar are all like a unit essentially, and Spike isn't part of a unit.
Well, he and throws up Killian as being in the 50. They were both in the war, right? They're both law enforcement. I mean, but the Boromar are law enforcement. I mean, in a way, I guess. I guess in a way, Spike is, as a bounty hunter, is pseudo law enforcement. But also, it's also written through her pen, her hand, her mind. It's her perspective. You know, if something is if she perceives something as a threat or something not a threat, that's up to her to decide whether it's the truth or not. If the third column is a threat, then me and Killian are equal threats to her, and Varian is the least threatening person.
Which
I don't think
doesn't
that's
make any sense because he has definitely confronted her. Confronted is a little bit of
Well,
a.
you said something about a ranking. What if it's
She went, that scrawny ass.
what if it's the reverse? Me and you see his heart breaks a little bit. He says, "What if I'm the most or the least threatening person?" And so is Killian, and I guess Varian would be one of the fifth most threatening person to her. Immediately, he's like, "Oh, that doesn't make sense."
Then if Baron Madani is very high on the trustworthiness closeness scale of the first one, why would Baron Madani be more of a threat to her than you guys if he's susceptible to what she, like if he's on the friend side of the friend foe list? I don't know.
And you see that eventually he reaches a point and says, I mean, I guess regardless of what the other columns mean, you've been trying to find evidence. If you can link these numbers to money or goods that have traded hands and have ended up in her pocket and that she has used for any of these wrongdoings, that's just something else to add to the pile. It might not be strong in the moment, but there'll be something to follow up on. I mean, if you'd be willing to help, or really, if Varian has the time to come and help me do a bit of spell casting, could maybe try and see if the book tells us any more, but it could take me a while to try and figure out more.
I'm gonna leave the books with you. Tonight, we have a confrontation coming. And hopefully, if we do things the way that we've kind of been discussing, it'll buy us some time where she cannot directly interfere, that we can really dive in and put a nail in this. But time is real short. So we're gonna have to make our move.
What do you have planned tonight?
She's a gala. She's invited us to a little shindig.
And he opens a drawer, holds out a similar invitation, except this one's a little more hastily written, not as nicely calligraphied.
Yeah.
Huh. So I'm guessing I shouldn't go to that.
I think it would be best that in case she decides to make some kind of move and we don't walk away from it, that somebody who has the information that we've been gathering is still around.
Nods, and says, I'll see if Varian has a moment to stop by. But we've known each other for a couple months now. You look terrible. Please go back to sleep.
Before I go back to sleep, just one thing we haven't touched on. The second column. Where the similarities lie.
They seem
Killian Donavan.
somewhat related to the first.
Killian and Donavan, same number. Myself, Varian, same number. Oleg, Spike, same number.
Oh.
And then a wide range from there, from at least the
Do you-
ones that I've been observing.
Do you want my honest opinion?
Of course.
When you said Killian and Donavan, I've seen how Killian is quick to jump the gun about calling King Citadel or Sharn Watch. And I've also seen how Donavan is devoted to the truth. So my gut says that they're both stubborn.
Yeah, I can say that.
I mean, is
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that.
and he says, is Baron Madani or Rasha Tahan or Karen Matonin gullible, not stubborn, or easily swayed?
I don't know them very well, but Baron Madani wasn't. Baron Madani Baron Madani has a family. Baron Madani has a family. So, but the discrepancy of numbers is very.
Says, well, at least throws up a bunch of more illusory numbers and names up on the wall, and he sort of uses that to establish a trend, and he marks in one of the books on like the first page of them that the first column goes no higher than 10 and no less than 1. The second column goes no less than 1, no higher than 100. Third column 1 to 50, and then the third column is upwards in the thousands. And Baron is the highest, but maybe it could go higher. So Rickon at least establishes a range of numbers. He says, and then throws up all those Boromar names again. He says most of these fellows, they fall down in the 5s and the 50s and 40s. It's probably not necessarily the middle, but at least an average, maybe. What are you doing, Alan? What is that?
It's a long grape.
It's a grape?
A grape?
Yeah.
Ugh.
What?
What's wrong
It
with
does not
Grape
this?
look like a
half.
grape.
It's a certain type of grape that's grown just oblong. They're
Okay,
really sweet though.
Bite it in
Hyper-
half and show us the
Yeah.
inside.
Holy
Mhm.
shit.
Wow. That's wild. Do you have more like that? It's a whole bowl?
Are these some nonsense Midwestern grapes that I don't know about?
No, I've had them in North Carolina too.
Where are they from?
I don't know, somewhere ovular.
That's not a real place. What?
I don't know.
Okay.
Ovular,
all
North
right.
Carolina.
Oh, you never been
Ovular?
over to Oval Town?
Yeah.
Ovalville?
Ovalville.
So yes, Rickon at least establishes a range and says he'll keep looking at to see if anything else pops out to him, but eventually tells you to go get some sleep.
All right. Yeah. And I'll go lay down, just pass the fuck out.
Yes, and Varian, you will throughout your school day, probably in the middle of class or something, get a message from Rickon saying, "Hey, if you have the time today, I could use your help casting a spell at some point. Maybe pop by during a break or lunch or something."
How far is Rickon's place from Moorgrave?
Maybe a 15-minute walk.
Oh, that's fine then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I message him back. Message him back and say, yeah, I'll be by during a break. And yeah, I go by when I have
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe an hour or so off.
And effectively he gets your help in casting a divination spell.
What, anything I recognize?
What were you talking about, Carson?
Any kind of spell that Varian would know.
You get a a familiar tingle in your hands and across your skin. Rickon's hair floats out, and a bit of color tinges his scalp.
Okay.
As he gets your help in casting the spell, like divination,
Oh, okay. A classic.
which is usually only something a cleric or maybe even a druid can cast, like old druids can
Yeah.
cast,
Or somebody with the mark of detection.
House Madani.
Yeah.
Um.
Hmm.
Yeah. What of it?
Does it strike me as odd that Rickon can cast this?
Probably a little bit. I mean, it makes some sense. Like, oh yeah, he was a famous detective, and
Yeah, and I can probably still see the Order of Arion pendant somewhere.
definitely
So
uses
maybe
that.
I definitely question it. But I'm just like, yeah, I guess maybe he learned it as a cleric. Oh.
Yep. He will ask a fairly direct question. You've already he's speculated that the first and second columns are related, but he asks what you presume to be Arion, god of knowledge, what the second column of these ledgers signifies. And he gets back a single word, and Varian, you would get back the same word because you are helping him cast a spell. The word weakness. Whether that's exactly it, or if that's the god's interpretation, or whatever it might be, up to interpretation. But you hear the single word weakness.
What are the range of values for the second column?
Anywhere from 1 to 100, but your uncle has the highest number at 88, and Rickon has the lowest at 1, and then all of you guys have anything 9 or lower. Karamantonin, Spike's girlfriend, has a 71. Whereas Rathel de Vidalis, the cat on a pillow, she has a 52. Most Boromar people have anywhere between a 40 to 60 in the 50s range.
That's how many knife wounds it would take to kill him.
Quite possibly.
That's
Physical
not true.
weakness,
Donovan
mental-
has 2, bro.
And so do you.
I have 5.
But you
I
get
was talking
this-
about Killian.
Yes, you
Oh,
get
yeah.
the single word.
I'm a tiny bird.
weakness. You're like, that
Fair.
makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to. Okay, so Rick and I both hear this, and I catch his eyes, and I just start going, okay, weakness. Is there anything particular I would know about Arion as a god that, it would lead me to believe that he is editorializing here? Or I mean, if it were like asking a war god what weakness would be, and he could look at like Varian and be like, weakness. He's not physically strong.
Make a religion check and go into it with advantage because you have Rick in there to kind of provide insight.
Cool. I'll choose you and you. Ooh, thank you for that advantage. Religion is
86.
24. I only have a +5 to religion.
Oh, very close.
Oh, no.
You need a 25. I'm just kidding. Gods may communicate in different ways, and specifically because House Madani is not necessarily religious, you may have a different perception and interpretation of what that might mean, whereas someone who's part of the church might have an entirely different interpretation, or Rickon, who was once part of the esoteric order, may have his own interpretation. But specifically because he was reaching out to a god of knowledge and law, it's not necessarily editorializing, maybe minimizing and baselining. So it's not necessarily like, it's not a descriptive weakness. It's just using weakness in sort of a general term.
Things that could be exploited.
Yes. Just a very simple and vague thing because, God of knowledge, God of law, keeping it very baseline, very simple, straightforward.
Okay. And then I just kind of start thinking out loud with Rick and say, okay, since the values span such a great range, I'm going to count out the idea that each value has a distinct and has a distinct thing to which it responds to. Or like if the values were say 1 to 10 or 1 to 15, you might be able to point them out as things like money or blackmail or whatnot. But since the values are so expansive, it leads one to believe they probably are a relative and somewhat arbitrary calculation by the person making these ledgers, likely Ithronel herself, of an approximation of each person's weakness based on some sort of metrics that only she at present is privy to.
And you see, like, Rickon's nodding along, and to the point where, like, you don't think too much of it. He's nodding along and agreeing, but then you finally take a moment to look at him, and he's, like, in a sweat. He's looking pale. He does not look good. And whatever spell ritual you just did had wiped him clean.
After kind of just being in my head for a minute, I see this and I go, oh, sit down. And I guide him to a chair or a couch.
He sits down and he just makes, just one of those passing remarks about getting older. Says, yeah, that's, yeah, I would have thought the same.
I cast Mage Hand and send it for a water or a tea or something.
So, yeah, there's no way we can decipher this whole thing by tonight. Cornelius told, and actually, it's like noon. You should probably go wake Cornelius up.
Oh, is he still asleep?
Yeah, we talked earlier this morning, but yeah, he needed his sleep.
I think we all did. He's at his place?
Oh, no, he's a room over.
Oh.
Just down the hall, take a left.
Okay. I, again, send my Mage Hand. Just...
Cornelius, just a little knock at the door. When you finally get up and check it, there's a little, like, light green hand waiting for you, and you know exactly whose it is.
It's like he doesn't even like get under the covers by the time he gets into the bed, so he's just like laying on the bed, just kind of like tie. The only thing, like he took the tie off and just unbuttoned his shirt, threw the coat on the chair, and just went.
Yep.
And he looks like he has like the look of 5 more minutes or else on his face, kind of thing. When the knock wakes him up. The gun is under the pillow. So.
Yeah, Varian, your mage hand drifts back with a bullet hole in the palm.
Yeah, that seems about right. I think he'll be with us shortly.
And with enough time, the three of you in Rickon's apartment group up to discuss new findings. If there's any remarks you want to make, you can go and make them now.
Weakness to somebody like Ithronel, it doesn't. We can only speculate, and I may be wrong, but it doesn't seem like physical weakness, like weakness in some sort of all-out altercation. Ithronel has gotten as far as she has, largely through manipulation. I would venture that these spores correspond to how susceptible somebody is to a particular form of manipulation. Any ideas on that?
You got muffled in the middle of that.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
You said form of susceptible to manipulation. Is that what you said?
Manipulation. I basically said it doesn't seem like she's keeping track of somebody's battle prowess so much as their ability or susceptibility to manipulation. Question is just, how is she determining these numbers? There are no formulas in here. There's no key. It's all in her head.
Rickon, in his tired state, will remark and say, if these are really forms of weakness, she thinks she can manipulate and control in a way. That also means she underestimates them. So potentially, if you could work with them, then or get them to change their stance. I don't know. Maybe that could work. That's just more time to take.
Time we don't have.
And probably at this point, everyone has woken up from their various long rests. People have done whatever they need to do in the maybe little bit of time they would have had prior to meeting up with everyone, post somewhat of a long rest. So at this point, we'll take another quick, 2 to 5 minute break, grab snacks, refills, and then we will figure out what you guys do in the final, 6 to 7 hours before the gala. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I'm glad it sounds good. Everyone's thrilled. So we will take a quick break and be right back.
Wow, that was really enthusiastic.
Yeah,
Logan.
great. Awesome.
All right, great.
I guess we'll start again.
Okay, so this may or may not be the last break we'll take, so that means we still need, let me double check. Let me refresh my page. Still need 2 Patreon supporters, $1 or $4, to fuck up this campaign super hard.
We really don't, though.
I think you do.
I've never rooted against you so hard.
I can dun if you want.
I turned that off for this purpose, Alan.
Oh, okay.
He was like, "Don't fuck up my plans."
So patreon.com/NeverSayDice, $1 or $4, and this campaign will turn on its head and become a real nightmare for everyone.
Or don't, and it'll become nobody's nightmare.
Yeah, it's been a walk in the park so far.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
easy. So, at this point, we'll call it an even noon. By this point, Spike has done whatever he needs to do. Killian, you've made sure your kids have gone off to school, and you've clocked into work to let them know what's been going on. Oleg, you have had your nice slow morning of coffee with your aunt and a nice egg and bacon breakfast and pancakes. What's the special called at Waffle House? The All-Star Special.
All-Star,
You make a
yeah.
little homemade All-Star Special.
That sounds great.
It's-
Donavan gets fired, and Cornelius and Varian convene with Rickon on very little sleep to decipher these ledgers.
Do
I
the
will.
rest of us hear about? Oh, sorry.
That's fine. You can go ahead and ask.
Do any of the rest of us hear about Donovan getting fired?
Donovan?
I mean, I don't think that would be a thing. I wouldn't be like, LOL, guys. Group message.
Log on to
Guess who
Instagram and
just
check
got
out
fired?
Donovan's
Donovan's.
Finsta.
Yeah.
That seems
Yeah.
like something that would show up in our group me.
It does seem like something we'd see on LinkedIn.
Raffle
I
just
gotta
got
tell you
fired.
guys, if I got fired, I would not put it in the group me.
So no one knows about Donovan's current career state. But presumably at around noon, you guys would probably reach out to one another and figure out. Because at this point, Gala is at 7. So you have 7 hours to meet up and get there and do whatever else. I'll leave it up to you.
Right. I'm gonna ask you again this time, Varian. I'll give you the heads up, I guess. Can you please have some dispel magics prepared for the end of the day? I forgot about it yesterday. We were kind of out.
I'll do my best.
Okay,
I
thanks.
have it prepared. Hopefully this gala does not go bad enough that I will expend all my magic.
If it does, then oh yeah. Did we figure out anything really at all about anything numbers wise or?
We
I don't
figured out
know,
the
man.
We figured out the second column corresponds to perceived weakness, but that's about it.
Cool. All right. You see at this point, like Oleg definitely has like large bags under his eyes. He seems to have grayed a little bit around the edges, and looks like although he got his sleep, it seems as though he is
Worse for wear.
worse for wear for sure.
Even though I imagine Oleg text was just like the letters okay. Like it's so terrible and short.
You think he put O? He
It's
just puts K.
It's just like Oleg's like K first.
Damn, Ola, you need some coffee grounds.
Right.
I got some ground spaghetti and some floor spaghetti and coffee grounds.
Yeah, bruh, it's carbs and caffeine all in one.
I got some Arabica.
Gets you up and
linguine.
it keeps you up.
I'm gonna be honest. That is real depressing.
Yo, you want some Keurig rotini?
I'm perfectly fine. I just, I have 3 days to live. It's fun.
Can you imagine little Keurig pods that produce like red sauce, like marinara sauce? That's vile.
That'd be amazing.
That's a
Yeah,
vile.
can I get an Americano with marinara?
I just,
A marinaricano.
oh no,
Heyo.
it's fine. I think it'll be fun. It's fun. I'll be here.
A cappuccino Italiano.
Are you? We're all there together at
Yeah.
Ricky's place?
Well, do you guys want to meet up as a group? I
Yeah,
assume
let's-
someone says the first text and is like, "Hey, you guys up yet?" So for the sake of ease, you get ready, you walk or fly or skycoach your way into your relative places, and we'll assume about 1 o'clock. So we'll say 6 hours till showtime at the gala. Where do you guys want to meet? Lower city, middle city, upper city? Or university area, or it doesn't matter whatsoever.
I'm gonna suggest either the university area or near Rickon's place. Seems like kind of a centralized
Rickon.
location.
Yeah, let's meet at
Rickon's
Rickens.
That
Yeah,
worked
for
for
sure.
me.
I take the bus, so I save my energy for the later parts of the day.
Yeah, you find some spaghetti on the floor. You think, yes, lunch.
I peck at it like a pigeon would.
Varian, not Varian. Killian's like a reverse monk. He just instead of being fastidious, he eats fucking floor spaghetti.
And to think, this guy has kids at home. He works for the government. Like,
This is a paid
Yeah.
government man. I have your tax dollars.
Yeah, the chief is just like, damn it, Killian. If you weren't so good, I'd send your spaghetti slurping ass straight home.
spaghetti slurping ass. If you guys will permit me a little bit of fun, Rickon tosses you some gold pieces to head over to the Everbright district. Basically just a couple minutes walk over from where his apartment is. Head over to the Everbright district to get a magically performed mani-pedi and massage. So you guys are all sitting currently in the nice little salon mani-pedi chairs with your feet propped up and hands on the arms. Your hair's in one of those little salon hair dryers, and you all can talk and discuss as normal.
Do you even have fingers?
Yeah, the employees don't even have to stand near you to do their job. They just wave their hands, and some mage hands do the work for them.
That's honestly probably way better.
Yeah,
That's
Like for
like a
everyone.
great job. Just a little like basic magic to do the work, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I get
So-
paid to do this.
Yep. So they, Rickon
Yeah,
pays for
imagine-
you a mani-pedi,
Imagine
and
hangnails on Eric
vile.
have you guys seen that video where people like catch pigeons to get the strings and stuff off of their little feet?
Strings?
Yeah, because pigeons will like dive into trash and get like twine and stuff and string around their legs, and then it hurts them and it cuts off their, all that kind of stuff. I imagine like as Killian puts up his feet, they start taking off like little plastic rings like a tortoise and like taking a string off.
Yeah, some noodleage.
The line
Noodleage.
between Aarakocra and just straight up bird, it just gets so,
So
blurred.
thin.
Yeah,
It's
it
becoming
gets
so much thinner
blurrier
with this
every
character.
session.
But anyway, you guys are sitting in mani-pedi chairs, getting your
My
Getting-
internal image of Killian changes every session.
yeah, it gets worse, more vile, and then I have to remind you like, hey, you have kids. Don't forget, you're a dad.
Honestly,
His thumbs up.
he's still fitting the bill.
The bill, like
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on purpose, I swear.
He's
So-
just getting home and emptying out pockets full of different kinds of spaghetti onto
Kids,
the
dinner.
table.
So you guys are sitting
Y'all
in
ever been to an
mani-pedi.
Eric Coker Halloween, you know?
Yep.
This is just
Tricks and
depressing.
treats.
This is getting worse and worse. You guys are sitting in mani-pedi chairs in a salon in the Everbright district of Middle Memphis, and basically near the middle of the city. Take it away with discussing whatever you need to.
Chef Boy ID was the second coming.
So one
What?
thing I want to bring up is and make sure that we are still in agreement of is the plan of going ahead and orchestrating the arrest tonight. That's something that we still are in agreement of.
Yeah.
I think she's getting dangerous. I think she's getting desperate. I don't know that we can afford to have her out on the streets for much longer. I'm still in for it. Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
The arrestor gives us time to crack whatever evidence we haven't finished.
Exactly. Killian, do you mind calling your associates? Yes.
Okay.
That way we could have that orchestrated.
Gentlemen, Would you like to make the arrest?
Oleg's like, no, I would not.
Drinking on the set of cups to rest would not be fun to me, no.
Okay.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was kind of hoping there'd be, an interval where I could do, a speech outlining all of her many crimes and where she went wrong. And you could see Varian pushing a Nancy Drow book further into his pocket. And, but, if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to be disappointed or anything.
I forgot about Nancy Drow. That
I mean, Varian, if you want to make the arrest, I mean, it's your time.
This. We'll see how the moment feels. Let's just have the King Citadel there.
Wait, don't quote that. Why did you...
Alan.
You're face to face with your sins.
You'll live with him for the rest of the time this channel exists.
So, Killian,
Oh, man.
taking a moment to step out of the salon, your toes spread as you got those little cushions between each one. Step outside to make whatever phone call you need. You call to talk to Usid about the gala tonight and having people there to stand watch or just be there in case of the arrest. Bad things might happen. And you sense some hesitation on her side. And she eventually says, Killian, I trust you. I trust you a lot. Of course, you're on this case. King Citadel's sort of... You've been asking a lot. You've done good. You've done great work, but between the crime scene at the Galanda house, the crime scene with your changeling friend, keeping an eye on your friend's house, and everything in between, essentially they're keeping my budget kind of tight. Yeah, I can't give you an army or anything, but I can maybe give you a couple of folks. Which, I don't know if that'd be... Honestly, it might be more beneficial if you take it on yourself rather than trying to corral my guys along with you, but I mean, can't give you an army or anything.
Yusuf, this is gonna be a huge fucking win. And we need to make sure it's a win.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Am I good at that?
I don't know.
Sure.
Are you? I doubt it. You eat floor spaghetti.
I rolled a 13 plus 4, 17.
Heyo.
Damn, this is some floor spaghetti numbers, man.
Floor spaghetti numbers.
You must have had your floor spaghetti this morning.
With extra coffee grounds.
She can't see my pasta stains.
You're holding your communicrystal, you look at it, there's marinara sauce smeared across the glass.
Crusted at the corners. It's clearly been there a while.
Says, I can send a couple people there. From what it sounds like, if anyone's inside that she didn't invite, she'll know. So I can at least have them stand outside, maybe hit the roof, something, but they'll be your. We'll call them your safety net.
All right. Thank you.
Just be careful, and if this doesn't go well, case might be put on ice for a little bit. Or at least maybe passed off to another crew. So, and you can hear on the other side, like, straighten up. She says, "So, Killian, don't make me look bad, all right?"
When have I ever?
There was that one time with the spaghetti on the sky coach.
Bye. I'm losing connection. I'm in a. I'm
What?
going through a tunnel wall. Bye.
So
Tunnel
you
wall.
return, you waddle back inside with the little cushions between your toes and rejoin everyone else getting their mani-pedi with at least somewhat of a safety net from the King's Citadel.
Hey, Varian.
I don't. Oh.
Yes.
How much success or failure do you see coming at it today? That's my way of asking if you're about your important roles.
That's very good. Let me do my important rolls. Let's see where we're landing. Okay. My important rolls are 12 and 1.
Yes. Okay.
You see a flash as kind of the green from the pupil spreads across the white of the eye, and the entire eye is consumed in this kind of green light for just a second or so. Or I see. Nothing is certain. Few things ever are. But I think all our work will pay off in some way tonight. I think it will. We should still do everything in our power to make sure we up that chance. But we're going in, and she's not holding all the cards for once.
I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, if everything goes wrong, we can always kill her.
That I agree with, yes. We can always kill her. I mean, I just look at Oleg and I hold up my gun, or
I just buried my face.
some way, somehow, it ends today.
Or tomorrow. Or
tomorrow,
the next.
or the next day. You know, we have like Oleg. How many days do we have left?
We have like what day is it, Logan?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So we have like 4 days left. 3 days
Some
left.
way, somehow, it ends in 4 days.
That's true. One way or another, I'll lose all my memory and forget all about this in 4 days. So
You can't forget us. We haven't even taken Varian to the firing range yet. We're going to let him shoot a gun.
I look down at my spindly wrists, look back up, and go, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Look,
You don't have to have strong wrists. You just have to have the good form.
you've got to have strong something.
You're
okay.
strong in your own way.
36 hours later, Varian loses both arms.
Yeah, yeah. Just cut to Varian in a full body cast, just like, oh, you.
My bones are made of glass and my skin is paper.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Just a cap gun.
I can see Varian on the stretcher and see if he can roll it out, and he's like laying down, and Oleg's looking over him, and Varian's just like, "Was I strong, father?"
Yeah, just both fucking dislocated shoulders, just off at unnatural angles.
All right.
I magically set that. It's okay. I don't think it'll be pleasant, but it can be done.
I want to talk to Rickon. Grey Castle.
Okay.
As opposed to
Rickon Blue Castle?
Castle, the TV show.
So
Like,
you finish
Right,
up
yeah,
at the end
Castle.
of your mani-pedi. Your hour is up. T-minus 5 hours until gala time. Killian states, "I want to see Rickon."
Well, I don't know he's Rickon, right?
Oh yeah, at this point, no.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his?
West, something Weston?
Yeah.
Smith and Weston.
Fucking alias. Mr. Weston.
So you knew my dad?
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's slow up a minute. Does everyone continue a mani-pedi, or do you let Killian go meet Mr.
I mean-
Weston by himself?
I'm gonna continue my last mani-pedi of my life.
Yeah.
I have never been this pampered in my entire life. I'm not leaving this place until it's over.
Yeah, I paid for the whole hour.
Why did you come along
Yeah.
exactly? Do you?
They're just buffing the joints at this point.
That's how that works. I guess that
Oiling
makes
joints
sense.
and buffing.
So, Rickon Greycastle hears a knock at his door, answers it to a little owl man who claims, "You knew my dad?" And he looks down at you, a bandage on his forehead, looking exhausted, says,
Like a newsboy.
"Yeah," just like, I'm sorry, who? What?
Oh yeah, I'm the detective that's working alongside your detectives.
Mhm.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for your help. I merely just give them some insight and some coin along the way when they need it.
Oh. Thought you knew my dad.
Who? Who's your dad?
Well. Wait, what was my dad's name? I'll just say I'm Killian.
That is
Vesper? I remember there was a Vesper in the papers. Government chap?
Yeah. He didn't start out that way, but yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew him. No. Sorry.
Do I believe him?
Make an insight check.
Insights.
Inciting an NPC.
Yes.
24.
Jesus H. No, he's not telling the truth. He definitely knew your father.
I look at him a bit. You knew my dad.
That.
As one naturally does whenever you meet somebody who's lying to you. Ah, I understood the assignment.
He looks at you and says, "Yeah, all right. I used to be somewhat of a private investigator, much like your friend Cornelius back in the day. And yes, your father was sort of my King Citadel handler. I helped them with cases. They gave me jobs, all that kind of fun stuff.
Really?
Yeah, something of a consultant. Your father was somewhat of a manager, a supervisor within the King's Citadel, Dark Lanterns, had his own little team, and I was sort of a contract worker. And effectively, what he's describing is exactly what UCID is, and he's describing himself in the position of everyone else.
Okay. Do I believe that?
Yeah, it all tracks, and
Okay.
he seems to be telling the truth. He's skipping a little bit, but it's the truth. He's just kind of leaving out some details.
I don't really remember Mr. Weston.
Pardon me a moment. And he steps away for a second, and Killing you can very easily peek around the edge of the door, and his hair stands up and glows purple. And a message reaches Varian. And you hear Rick and Grey Castle say, "Can I trust this little owl man? Is he trustworthy? I mean, he's King Citadel, so I assume he's fine." You're muted, Carson. You gotta hydrate.
Fuck me. There's a brief pause while Varian considers how to word this, and then he responds, "He's a bit eccentric, but he's an okay chap."
So Rickon returns to the door, or Mr. Weston. Sticks out a hand to you, Killian, and says, "Well, I'm retired at this point, but Mr. Weston is a pseudonym, a little nickname. My real name is Rickon Greycastle III." And essentially he's saying, "My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a superhero of Sharn." And you definitely would have heard of him. And so he shakes your hand and says, "Just a retired old man at this point, just trying to help."
Killian's jaw beak drops. And he's just like kind of quiet for a second. He shakes his hand again because he doesn't know what else to do.
Yes, your father was wonderful, fun to work with. Yep. Okay, I need to go take my afternoon nap. Do you need help with anything?
Oh, did you know him before he joined the King Citadel?
Oh, no. I knew him well into his job.
Oh.
I mean, we
Cool.
sometimes drank together after, but, somewhat friends, I guess.
So what happened then?
What do you mean, what happened? When? With what?
I mean, it's kind of like you just kind of disappeared.
I fell in love with someone I shouldn't have. Someone made it apparent to the press. The press reported on it negatively, and everyone stopped hiring me, and I had a bad rap.
You work at the King Citadel?
Did the person work at the King Citadel? Or
Huh?
did I work at the King Citadel?
No, do you want to work at the King Citadel?
Do I want to work? I'm too old for that. I cast a spell this morning and it nearly killed me, so I don't think so. I mean, I'm interested in consulting maybe again, but I need to think on it.
How about as a teacher?
A teacher? Do you have classes?
Yeah, you know, like the FBI has Quantico.
Oh, yes, I forgot about Quantico Tower here in Sharn, yes. Middle Memphis. It's right over there, down the street. Possibly. Do you have... Are you allowed to offer that? Is that... Or are you just asking for curiosity's sake? Alright, well, it's a
I could
pleasure
find a
talk-
way. I could
Yes.
find a way.
Perfect. Well,
If
maybe...
you're interested.
I'll think on it, I'll think on it.
Okay.
Anyway...
Is he interested?
You'll have to think on it. He's interested, but he's very old. And so, sleep mask on his forehead. He waves to you and says, "Oh, pleasure meeting you. Killian Vesper, junior, second, third, no, second.
Oh, senior. Yeah.
Senior.
Junior is my son.
May he be just as wonderful and investigative as you are. Tell
Yeah,
him,
maybe.
enjoy the pedicure and manicure again. Your
Oh
talons
yeah,
are gleaming.
I got mine done. Check out my
Yeah. Look wonderful.
feathers.
Yes, perfect. Anyway, good luck and call if you need anything.
Okay. Bye.
Or mask already over his eyes before he closed. Where he says, "Yes, good afternoon."
As he shuts the door, he hears Killian like squealing like a fangirl all the way down the hall.
So eventually Killian rejoins. Half hour or so has passed. About 4 and a
Wait,
half.
what's my intelligence? -1. Alright. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not gonna tell the rest of the group because
You don't think they know. Perfect. I can't wait for that to be the very end of the campaign. Everything's solved, and you're like, guys, there's one more mystery I need to solve here. Mr.
I go up to like
Weston.
I go up to like Spike and be like, man, that Weston guy is, yeah, what a guy. Eh?
Anywho, at this point, 4.5 hours till, or no, 5.5 hours till gala time. Any other prep things you guys want to do before you put on your dress attire to go to the gala?
Xavier, I think you're muted if you just try to say something.
Let's go to the gala.
Yeah, gala.
2 votes for skipping ahead. Anyone else?
I'm good. Skip ahead.
Let's do it.
Yes. Yes.
If I could get, if I could get all of you just to roll a d20 for me.
19.
1.
8.
17.
Okay. Alan
8.
and Austin.
10.
Cool.
Nicer in the middle.
I get Travis and Xavier to both roll a d100 for me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
I'm gonna do the small one too. 36.
That is a 38.
Oh god.
So Travis 38, Xavier, what'd you get?
36.
38 and 36. First thing, as you guys are leaving your mani-pedi mid-afternoon, and it's the kind of place that if they like you enough, they're like, hey, do you want some champagne? And they'll start like serving you some drinks for a cost, but it turns into that kind of place. And so you can sit and drink, eat little finger foods and appetizers for a little bit from the food truck outside. But inevitably, you notice what seems to be a familiar place because you all sat in her living room. You see a woman pushing around a cart, an older woman with curly, knotted, thick hair, kind of tall and hunched over, pushing a little cart. And on top of it is a little pitcher of sand. And as you all leave, she says, Donavan, sweetheart, what are you doing down here? Must be come here, let me pour the sands and read them for you. Please.
Okay.
She gestures to all the rest of you, says, join, you're all part of the same sandy beach. Please stand by him while I read his sands.
What'd she call me?
She's old and senile. That's okay.
And you all walk over, and she's human appearing. However, she's hunched, and even then she's hunched and still standing at like 6'5" or 6'6", so she's easily over 7 feet tall. She is a big lady that's just hunched over. And you recall sitting in her house, Donovan's neighbor, in this small, cramped, tilting home, as this sort of wacky fortune teller who made you all sorts of weird types of scones and muffins and such. And as you walk over, she says, not to offend, but you all look well fed. Did they give you some good snacks in there, I assume?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't want any of my scones?
I would love one.
Sure.
Oleg,
can't-
always the charmer. All right,
I
so
can't really
here's one
taste
that has
these, so-
some Brussels sprouts, garlic, and artichoke hearts. It's delicious.
That sounds very savory for this one, but that sounds good.
Oh yes, and just a little pat of butter on it. She puts like a whole fucking like chunk of butter smeared on top of it.
It's lard.
It's just it's terrible.
It's a spoonful of lard.
Yeah. Were the scones good last time?
They were very good last time.
I'll take a scone.
Why
Um,
not?
She pulls out one. She goes to hand it to you, and she says, "This one just has a little dash of cinnamon, a little bit of little cream cheese smeared through it, so it gets nice and melty when it's warmed up."
Wonderful. Thank you.
And then she pulls out another one and says, "And this one's full of nails and screws," and hands it over to Spike.
I don't know if normal people would eat this. Why would you serve this to me?
But I thought,
Well, just because I'm a warforged doesn't mean I'm going to eat metal.
what about this one? I put.
I eat it anyways. I devour it.
And as you all are eating her scones, she starts pouring out some of the sand and sifting her finger through it and doing all sorts of just strange, ancient, like druidic fortune-telling type stuff that Varian you may have read about, but it's like no one does that. That was fake. That was a hoax. But she does every bit of it.
I watch politely.
And eventually, as she is running her finger through the sand, eventually a couple other people kind of pop to watch, and stand and listen and look at whatever's happening. And looking at all of you, she immediately like lowers herself down even more. And she cranes her head, making eye contact as she snaps around and says, "Trouble follows you wherever you go." Which also means
Yeah.
wherever you aren't,
Story of my life.
trouble isn't there. So if you stay away, trouble stays away. Trouble follows wherever you go. So says the sands. Careful where you tread. Careful where you tread. This one has dried blueberries and pulls out one of her scones.
Well, I'll take that one.
And hands it out and starts scooping the sands into her little jar.
I like eat it. I'm like, oh, thank you. We can go now.
And then she starts gesturing toward other folks and says, like, "Oh, this." And then just as she's about to completely dismiss you all, she says, "Actually, here is a little bit of nutmeg and coffee scone with actual coffee grounds," holding it specifically out to Killian.
Head
Like
twitches
she
a little
knows. Making dead eye contact. Says, "Made with
Oh.
the best coffee grounds."
bit. Oh,
Toronto
me?
Plains.
I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't. I'm trying
My
to diet, you
treat.
know. It puffs up my feathers. Okay.
Yes, Austin.
When she says her bit, how does my gut respond to that? I have this, secondary consciousness to work with here. It sees a lot more and understands a lot more in a less material way, if that makes sense.
Make
And
a
how does
wisdom
my-
check for me.
I further dig my burden of caffeine addiction.
Well, that's a 7.
From your last time seeing this woman, even Donavan dismissed her like, yeah, she's wacky. And so it's kind of, yeah, she's just a crazy scone lady.
All right, just like on, because it's a weird day. Can I detect thoughts on her?
Sure.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's
and
up
even
with her.
just surface thought, she's already kind of moved on and kind of trying to hawk her like abilities to read the sands and any of her scones and things. But she kind of, you sense a bit of almost mournful energy to her for you all. Essentially, reinforcing the idea that trouble is going to follow you. It's just like a poor guys.
Well, we already knew that. That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
I was just curious.
So, with that, when the time comes, stopping partway to get whatever kind of late lunch or early dinner or what have you on your way up to the upper city before you begin your outfit change to get ready for this fancy political gala, if you intend to do so. Finally, as you reach the upper city and you make it to some of the fancy shops and fancy residences that are up there, as you were walking, oh geez, I don't know if I can remember who was down there. We'll say as a group, because you're walking together, one of you gets grabbed by your arm, and you see a beautiful human woman, Jessica Rabbit-esque, and a Warforged man in a beautiful suit stop you and say, You're the gentleman from a couple days ago. Those rabble rousers down in the street really causing a ruckus, but you really showed them what for, right? And you recognize that sort of couple that kind of got bullied a little bit as they were down outside of the Changeling Club whenever you first met with Gav and Sim. They had stopped you as they were sort of getting harassed, and you kind of helped them to find their way looking for a certain casino and all that. But they seem to have also witnessed your tussle with the Broken Bridge Brawlers, that nationalist group that Dwarf was in, and that you essentially fireballed like 3 times.
Yeah, we did do that.
Yeah, and so they both stop you. The Warforged man in this beautiful silver platinum plating and a little bit of wood in very decorative places shakes Spike's hand. Says, that was great, sir. You really showed them. Really showed them.
Oh, well, thank you. You're too kind. And honestly, I mean, if they tried it again, I wouldn't hesitate to be even deadlier. Sorry, that's the old me coming out a little bit. But I wouldn't. And then I just let go of his hands because I'm starting to get a little creepy.
Well, you go to let go, and he kind of grabs your hand even tighter and pulls you in. Says, "Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, I'm lucky. I met a beautiful woman here, and a new life ahead of me. But I know what you mean. You know, I've considered joining a group they have with the King's Citadel, and some kind of group therapy type thing for Warforged. Have you heard of it?"
I'm already in therapy. Thank you though.
Would you
My therapist.
No, for me, would you recommend it?
Oh, for you? I was like, I'm up and down. Sure. Yeah. Just be.
In the back.
I'll tell him don't go to, and I'll tell him the name of my therapist. I'm like, don't go to him. I've had some issues with that one. But there's another one that's pretty good.
What kind of issues? They just not a good listener or something?
Something like that. Yeah. He just I think that they do that thing where they're just like laying there and they're pretending to write things in the notepad. Well, I actually got a quick glance and it was just doodles the whole time. I thought that was a little unprofessional. I'm trying to avoid the fact that I think that this guy is is an assassin.
Yeah, make a deception check for me.
I'm like, I fully believe this guy is trying to kill me. Oh God. Well, that's an 8.
He says, "Come on, soldier, I can."
All right, soldier to soldier. I guess it's the first time I'm saying this out loud to people. Soldier to soldier, I think my therapist is trying to assassinate me. I have a pretty big target on my back, and I'm pretty sure he's one of the ones that want to end it for me. So he's using therapy to get closer to me so he can find out my weakness.
He shakes your hand and says, "Oh, well, that sounds like a true nightmare. So good luck with that. Honey, that's a no on therapy." And gestures toward his partner, who's just been kind of like chatting everyone else up, and says, "So, wait, where are you headed?"
Did Killian overhear that?
If you would like
I said
to,
it out loud.
yeah, but
I fully
she
said
was
it out
chatting
loud.
everyone else up. So if everyone wants to make a perception check, we'll call
Hell
it
yeah.
DC 15.
Damn it.
22.
Perception.
Yeah.
16. Rolled a 3.
Fucking rogues.
17.
16.
Okay, so everyone except Oleg overhears Spike say that his therapist is an assassin trying to kill him.
I choke on a little bit of scone.
And then this Warforged tightens up his suit, gets his partner over, and says, "Oh, so what brings you up here in the middle of the day? I heard there's a big fancy event going on over at the Aurora Gallery. That can't be you all, right?"
Why not?
Oh, I assumed. Wait, is it? Are you?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to the gala. I'd be invited.
And he gestures at your metal hand. And is like, got a mani-pedi. I should have noticed.
Yeah.
You're ready for a big event.
These are fresh.
Ding! Glints in the
Yeah.
sunlight.
Wait, did that guy just judge our outfits or something?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's so.
The light from Spike's newly manicured hand catches the sunlight and just you can see a sky coach veer off.
Another mystery for another day.
Yeah. Bob
Spike is just
Sprigbriar's gonna go investigate that one.
Spike is entirely chrome right now.
Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible.
He's just been buffed out.
God. Yeah.
But he says, enjoy, drink a little bit for us, and I hope to see you soon. Keep the streets safe, and if you see those broken bridge brawlers, tell them what for again.
Absolutely. And again, therapies.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and then they walk on to do whatever a rich bougie couple does in Sharn. But we'll take this last little bit of time for you guys to get ready, and if you wish to don any kind of fancy party attire,
Yeah.
unless you want to go in just in your normal everyday civilian dress.
I was planning on wearing my very nice suit with the armor underneath, like I usually do. Actually, I would like to imagine that I invented in some way some kind of armor that would double as armor. Like,
Kind of like an armor-lined suit.
yes, that's why.
Are you describing from New Girl the sweatsuit?
I am not. I do not know anything about this particular suit.
It's a suit made of sweatpant material.
No, I am not. I am not inventing that.
But
I
you're
am
describing a
literally
suit made of armor, so it's a similar.
Yes,
A suit of armor.
but like underneath.
I'm gonna break out a new suit that I was
Ooh.
saving for a special occasion.
Oh,
It's gonna be like a deep, like dark red, black dress shirt, like silver tie.
you gotta break in the interview suit sometime, yeah.
The interview suit.
I think I'm wearing kind of like a kind of modified tuxedo where the fabric has like stars and constellations and silver sewn upon it, and then there's like kind of a half cape in back, clasped with like a platinum chain in the front. It's very like something you'd see at the Met Gala.
How topical, Carson.
Yeah.
Eat the rich, yeah.
Exactly.
As opposed to wearing like the typical, just like whatever colored tie, white shirt, black pants kind of thing. Still, I'm gonna go for like the all black look, just like fuck it, to like match up with the coat, like with the astral coat, just like the all black with like kind of like have like a starlight tie, like a silver tie with like, or like a neutral colored tie with like stars.
It has like some silver thread, so it just catches the light every once in a while.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I I'm gonna take this as a perfect opportunity to bond with Kara, and be like, "Hey, hon, I'm going to like this big fancy gala, and all of my clothes got eaten by a giant slime frog. I need help picking out a new outfit."
Goes up to your girlfriend. So my clothes got eaten by a slime frog.
That seems like something I'd see on Twitter. It's just like, "Oh, my man's clothes got eaten by a slime frog."
Good lord.
I'll do a burgundy and black tuxedo outfit.
Nice one. Trying to look and see what Kara's first outfit was.
She's like, does she have like a black dress? Like
Yeah, she just had a black sleeveless turtleneck dress.
Mhm.
And then she has like burgundy markings on her face and stuff like that. But that was so last political gala.
Yeah, that's out of season.
It's summertime, so she'll bust out a little white and gold number, a little bit more blousey, a little bit more flowy. And so, of course, likewise, she doesn't recommend a full suit, but she maybe more recommends, like, you know, just like a little button-down shirt and a light-colored vest. Maybe, you know, light brown, tan, a little bit of gold in there. You know.
Okay, in my head, I'm just like T-posed and just waiting for Garrett to just assign me whatever.
So she'll
So
probably
whatever she assigns me, I'll put on.
Yeah, so what she'll probably do is like a
It's
white.
just an unrigged animation model.
Yes, definitely. She'll probably do like a white button down,
Okay.
a vest where the back half is tan and then the front half is like white and gold paisley, and then the bottom half is a matching tan, like a beige color. So you got those nice like kind of light summer colors.
Love it. Absolutely love it. You're the best, babe. Are you going to this?
She is definitely going to this.
Okay.
And then internally, Romulus says like, "This will match the Sunblade. This is perfect.
It will. It'd be incredible.
It's all gold and white and
Did you get back the Sunblade? You did get back the Sunblade, didn't you?
What do you think Spike puts all morning?
So yes, Kara is going. And if you want to show up together, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, we definitely are. We're the hottest couple in Sharn.
So I imagine all of you guys show up like kind of a little somber and like, this is it. It's going down. And then Spike rolls up with his girlfriend.
Hey guys.
Can my girlfriend?
Can my girlfriend come?
Kara's just
Why
like,
can't she
hi.
be in the group picture, guys?
It's
Come
for
on.
boys only.
You hurt her feelings when you said she couldn't meet a good picture. Just, I need someone to just apologize, dude. I'm gonna hear it for the next
She's
hour.
coming to
please.
game night. She's really good at Catan.
Oh my god, we're not gonna break up in 3 months. No,
Yeah.
you just stop saying that. No, we can't. You can't say that we're gonna ruin forever with your pictures of mine broken. No, that's not happening.
I can't wait for when this campaign ends and I'm doing any kind of like write-up or narrative or summaries and I'm like, yeah, Killian, Donavan, Cornelius, Spike's girlfriend helped solve the crime.
Dude, she's gonna be the one that kills Death and
Yeah.
Hell. She just takes a gun out of nowhere and shoots her in the back of the head.
You guys should have told me. I could have done this forever ago.
I hate it.
We get lunch once a week.
Instead of like pulling out the gun, she just grabs Spike's gun arm and just goes bang. Just fucking kills her.
That's kind of sexy, honestly.
Spike's
Hey,
like
not out in public. It's a private thing.
So
Couples that shoot together stay together.
oh my god.
Oh no.
So with that, you guys get geared up and dressed up with Kara in tow and enter into the Aurora Gallery as the clock chimes 7. And so that's where we'll stop for this session. I'm gonna go toilet cat real fast before doing sign-offs, because
Question.
I
Next
gotta do
time
it.
for Spike's
Question.
girlfriend.
For me?
Yes, for you.
Yeah?
Would 7 p.m. count as nighttime?
I'll think on it while I toilet cat.
The answer is yes. Rachel goes to bed like 1 hour after that, so.
It's an important question, I promise.
I assumed you were asking it for a mechanically relevant reason.
Oh, it is.
So like we're fully gonna shoot her in the head, right? Like if things go south.
Yeah. You and I, we definitely will on the first drop of a hat,
Yeah,
bro.
like as soon as stuff goes bad, no hesitation. I don't care who sees.
The downside to having like a million backup plans based on the spells that I have and the things that I can do is having so limited ways to use them because I have 3 spell slots.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I still have to play a cop, so playing my character is going to try and prevent you guys. But me personally, I'm totally okay if you guys have to kill me to kill Ithronel.
Alan's like, I am
let's
ready
think
for
about
this
that
to
for a
be solved
moment.
so much that if you kill my character, I'm totally cool with it.
we kill a prominent citizen in front of everybody, and in the course of that, murder a Fed.
That would
We're
be
the
the
good
best ending.
Yeah, if we ever come back, the ending will be we're all like
guys are just
either in
fugitives.
prison or on the run.
Wait, the next season could be Prison Break. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that'd be perfect.
Like that show.
Oh, shit,
Prison
yeah, we
Break.
gotta,
It
we gotta
is
break
in the
out and
moment.
prove
It is
our
in the-
innocence.
It is in the moment that we kill a prominent figure and murder a Fed that Cornelius decides whether or not the creepy ass place he saw that he was in his dream once before is better than this. Because I could go back there because I don't know.
Well, to answer your question, Austin, because it's like springtime, I'll say you have another hour until night.
Okay.
Because sunset's
Really
a little
noted.
bit later.
I'm just saying, Rachel's asleep at that time. Okay?
Rachel is asleep right now. Yeah. So, yeah. With that, I don't think I got a new Patreon supporter this time, but the offer will still stand. New Patreon supporter equals changing up this campaign real hard, which at this point would really hurt real bad. Oh no, Ithronel is actually Killian's
My mom?
third missing child or something.
Yeah.
It's Oleg's cousin in disguise.
That would be the quickest kill in the world.
Just like Oleg's like quick draw.
I'd be like, oh no, you mean the person who betrayed us would make me have my family love me more because I killed a traitor in the family? Oh, no.
I'm telling you, I think we should just let her get the powers of the Mind Flayer. Just see how powerful she could really get, you know?
And then fuck
Oh,
her
the
shit up.
fucking
And then just
Vegeta
like-
approach.
Yeah,
This
be
is
like,
this is just limit testing.
exactly.
Yeah, let's just let Cell absorb Android 18. Let's see.
Exactly. Exactly.
What a very a current Dragon Ball Z reference, Carson.
Thank
Dude,
you.
if you don't know the Cell Saga, what are you doing?
I mean, that is another case, yeah.
Not watching Dragon Ball.
Dude, Dragon Ball's amazing.
Get this guy.
Dragon Ball is good. Dragon Ball Z is mid.
Whoa, chill.
Okay, alright.
This isn't coming from One Piece over here.
Yeah.
Number 2 best-selling comic book in all the world.
When you got a huge sample size, what does it matter?
Things don't go on unless they're good.
I don't know if that's true.
I
Look
hate
how
that
long
that's
Lost-
that's the level of insult with this group is being like, oh, One Piece over here. Like that's
Just because something's old doesn't mean it's good. Dragon Ball Z is good for the time, not anymore.
I would say the same thing about One Piece.
That's because you haven't watched it, Travis.
I have.
Mm-mm.
Not all of it. Bro, I can't sit through 500 years of show.
See, this is Jacob talked to an old fucking woman in a curio shop, and she was just like, "Oh, do you want the best show you're ever going to watch? I could give that to you." And then the monkey's claw curls, and it's just like, "But none of
Have
your
this-
friends will ever watch it with you."
That's okay. My girlfriend watches it with me. She just texted me and said, "I think it's good. Don't worry."
This One Piece
Okay.
VHS set.
I mean, to some extent, your significant other has to pretend that they like the same thing as you.
No.
Does Jess pretend to like you, Travis?
Yes, we're married. That's marriage?
I don't think that's how that's supposed to work.
How would
But
you know?
okay.
You're not married?
It's okay. Jess likes One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The only questionable taste that she has is marrying you, Travis.
Yeah, One Piece. Yeah. I agree.
Birds is the
One...
best.
Well, anyway, I have a Patreon, and if you subscribe to it and be a patron, then I will ruin this campaign and run it into the ground. But of course, more challenges will be issued week by week for each stream for followers and more Patreon supporters and subscribers and whatever else I feel like doing that week. You can find links all over my channels and social medias and things of that nature. And with that, I don't think there's much more to say other than tune in for my video game streams later this week and Shadows over Driftchapel next week. And then, of course, we'll be back here at the same Sharn time. Maybe. I will be out of
Same.
town this weekend, so I'll double check. Same Sharn place.
There we go.
Shine, 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 shine.
I hate it.